Yo, wow, that was a fast raid. Not to be like Kate wanted to get rid of you guys right then and there to do something, but I don't know. Oh my god, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! That was yesterday? Oh, we're here again. Jamie, how do you like the new title screen for chapter 2? The way Morgan's looking down at you like you're dirt. How are we feeling about that? Be waiting until Thursday? Well, good news is I wasn't told I have anything serious. What are you implying? Answer the question! He's looking down at the Undercity. That is what she is looking at for real, but maybe. Sorry, I'm eating. Just a salad. You gonna be playing pronoun place? Nope. Palace, sorry. In school I was really good at every subject. However, I was really bad at languages. My brain does not function properly with languages. I don't know what's up with that. Doesn't matter what the language was, just I couldn't do it. Sarah is cute and she's just a robot. She's just a girl. Let a girl have hobbies. Sarah hasn't. Sarah did not kill someone. Sarah, as far as we know, is innocent, and her only hobby is watching movies. I've been thinking about like what's happening next. Like, how does Morgan get out of this? Can do what they want. I have some good news if you believe that about who Morgan is. By the way, this is Morgan on screen right now. For those who weren't here, we started off chapter 2. Did I miss a stream? Yes. Okay, here's what you got. Morgan got Sarah off scot-free, found the real killer, then employed Sarah as like an assistant. Chapter 2 started. Morgan went to the underworld to try to get a mask that would help her avoid camera detection, and then killed 4 people. In rapid succession, very quickly. She went to hell, she died? No. The Undercity. The place is under the highway. Or Undertale, true. I take back my message. Objection. Morgan is just a girl. Let a girl have hobbies. What can I say? The thing is, we've known since chapter 0 that Morgan is a serial killer. But she's been our protagonist. A very complicated character, Morgan is. But yeah, I was thinking, especially with how we ended the stream on Saturday, Morgan's the last person seen going into this building. There's 4 dead people, a guy presumably tied up in the bathroom. We have at least 11. At least 12. It was mentioned earlier that Morgan killed more people before the events of 0. The guy, what? Yoshi, you gotta understand, Morgan is not a good... Morgan's kind of... She gets the job done, you know? You haven't had it confirmed? That's fair. As for women's rights and wrongs. The thing about the pet incinerator kill was that the person she did that to was stalking her friend and being like, and like really ruining his mental health. So like that one, we can look the other way for that one. And then David Asher, the absolute bro, when questioned about Morgan's whereabouts that night, said she was with him the entire night. Boom. That's looking out for your homie right there. There's cameras everywhere. It's been said that. How is she avoiding all this? That when she's doing all this? It like when they were describing the heartbreak killer in chapter 0. When they profiled the heartbreak killer, it was like a perfectionist, right? Who has access to when cameras cycle. So she purposely does her kills when camera systems are rebooting for updates. Morgan is very competent at killing people. I'm gonna die of lung cancer. That's a habit she picked off her mentor, believe it or not. Ever spotted her either? That's just the way she's done things. Because if no one's like has an eyewitness of Morgan, right? They wouldn't have their phones out at that time either. So clearly she's picking her kills at good times. I'm curious how she's gonna get out of this one. You're about to find out because I just finished eating. Or gears or whatever. Okay, so Sarah's is a like robot, but she's like a robot that's similar to Cell from Dragon Ball, where she's mostly organic compounds that have been like programmed to do things. You had the Little Caesars $5 Prime Pizza? I did not. I don't have a Little Caesars near me. There's a criminal underworld? I don't think she got lungs though. I literally don't know what parts of her are like biological versus not. Anyway. Oh, look at all these fun times we had. This isn't the right place. There it is. Barely got 3 centimeters into his neck. Must have hit a vertebrae and stopped dead. Still got the job done after a few whacks, but well, it was my first time with the sword. And I've never been very good at anything the first time. I've always needed lots of practice. Okay, the music should have deadened the sound of the gunfire. That gun was heavily modified. If it's somehow still had its tags, they can't possibly be functioning properly. So I've got a window of opportunity. First things first, gloves back on. Gah, shit. Wow, someone's lively. Who the hell? Some kind of mod keeping him alive? A cruelty under his circumstances. I could hear that slug tear his intestines apart. The pain alone should have knocked him out cold. His fingers are limp, his eyes sharp. Paralyzed. There are rules. I thought. Blood's pooling fast. You've got 4 minutes. 4 minutes for what? Everything. You're no mega assassin. You're too talkative. Who sent you? Fox? Gray Lady? All that red should have. You the Rust's newest rabid dog? Caribou? It's cute how you all give each other nicknames. You're civilian? Where's the mask? What? Go to hell. You just looked right at the desk drawer. I thought you said you played poker. Need your keys. A civilian thief? Theft is victimless. It's robbery when violence is involved. Morgan's like, excuse you, I just killed people. It's not theft. It's a robbery. So you're just out of your goddamn mind. I'm the last person you'll ever talk to, Creek. Your choice, but you really want to be rude? You seem like you can take it. The key clicks in the small safe and pull on the door to reveal paperwork. Page after page of spreadsheets and diagrams and text all printed in red. Is this important? Ha! So considerate. Nah, just throw it anywhere. Okay. I was joking! 3 minutes now. Sarcasm costs you time you don't have. There it is, a gleaming darkness at the back of the safe. That's it, you, all of this, all of us. For that? Just for that? I get asked that question a lot. Would you feel better if I had killed you for a different reason? If I had a good reason for blowing a hole in your stomach? Would it have hurt any less? You still got more than 2 minutes, plenty of time. I could spin up whatever fairy tale you'd like to put you to bed. I bring the mask to my face and for a brief moment the surface seems to writhe. Is it trying to adjust itself to me? Suppose it makes sense, you wanting a mask so bad. If I was as hideous as you on the inside, I wouldn't want to go barefaced either. Hit a nerve must be the worst kind of feeling, being seen. Seen by someone you can't even hurt anymore. Well, I see you, heartbreak. Yeah, big, bad, faceless heartbreak. I'm just a dumbass punk. Don't flatter yourself. Holy shit! But even I can make you out from. It's not that you're particularly perceptive. I just don't have anything to hide when a corpse is talking. First honest thing you've said. Well, so what gives? HBK? You're clearly not an idealist. All the terrorism, rebellion theories out the window. You go around killing because your daddy smacked you around? Your mommy not hug you enough? My father never laid a hand on me. My mother hugged me. A sufficient amount. So what the hell's your excuse? I don't make excuses. Then what the hell's wrong with you? Less than a minute now. I could spend that time making up a diagnosis if you'd like. Or do you prefer I just come over there and squeeze? How? How many? Another question straight out of the greatest hits. How can I put this? How many times have you eaten bread? Never. Got a gluten thing, bitch. Whatever, point is, I am not a collector. This is not my hobby. I do not keep count. There is no code. I do what I want as often as I want to. Do what thou wilt. Whole of the law. Is that it? Don't know what you're enforcing. But from where you're sitting, do I really look like the law-abiding type? Bring the mask down, back down to my face, and again it surface seems to shudder. Forget it. At least I know you deserve what's coming. I've heard a lot of empty threats in people's last moments creak. They're never that memorable. Told you that mask was a death sentence, that it was spoken for. They called in a huntsman from overseas, home turf. Huntsman can become anyone, go anywhere, kill anything. Supposed to come over and slaughter the rust. That mask was part of his payment. He'll be looking for it. Possession is 9/10 of the law. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Finders keepers. God, forget it. I don't need to scare you. Huntsman, hunter, too much meaning lost. Always thought better translation was pelt taker. He'll find you, fray you alive, wear your skin. Then go and murder everyone. She laughs! Ah. Everyone you've ever loved. What a face. Should have taken you up on dipping out early. Anything beat dying staring at a face. A face like that. So, a huntsman coming to get me? Nah, the dead and the dying make for strong bluffers. I've seen more than enough of them to try their hand at improv. Time to move. I need to scuff things up a bit more. Make this look like an orca shootout then. Well, a visit from me. Alright. Weapons are inherently disposable. I can kill with anything. So I never bothered to retrieve one from a dead man's grip. But I might have need for a knife again shortly. So I'll be taking this back, Miller. Add to pry. Why is it that the dead are always grasping? The sword was not worth the effort. Lesson learned, but now I have to remove it for this next part. His eyes. Can't tell the model from the outside, but I can make a strong educated guess from the price range. They back up any data. It can't be more than once an hour. It'll be 10 o'clock soon, so I'm going to need something with some heft to it. Skull. See no evil. Jesus Christ. Well, the bat's definitely spent, but his eyes are no longer a problem, and the sword is fine where it is. Not gonna tempt fate and risk nicking myself with it. That's all the burning issues addressed. Time to take care of the chores. I had to remove my gloves to convince them I could use the dart card. That means I handled all the murder weapons with my bare hands. Obviously, I need to wipe my prints off the gun and knife. I put my gloves on before opening Creek's safe and cracking Trey's skull. So what does that leave? Better try. The police don't miss fingerprints. If you're sure you've got everything, you're good to move on, right? Focus, no mistakes. The card. Dark card plays Rose bait perfectly, even if the reason I'm having to go around wiping off prints. I've never been able to pull funds off it, but I might be able to use it again if it's stuck. Creek must have dropped it harder than I realized. Getting shot in the stomach doesn't help with handling delicate electronics. Knowing I'm going to risk taking the whole reader with me. Could have a number of pings and strings leading back to the manufacturer. No, I'll wipe the dark card off and then set the whole reader back on the desk. For all anyone knows, Creek's pod mugged it off some slummer, and we're trying to get in vain to get beer money off it. This is the remote I used to distract the big guy. You know, I wipe my prints off it, of course, but I should turn the music back off? No, it was playing when I first walked in. Best to preserve continuity. Besides, what was it he said? We like it loud, screws with the bugs. He was right about that much. Little smokescreen never hurts. Okay. Right, the keys I took off the open safe. The blue bloods are going to find out I took the mask eventually. I see no reason to give them any hints. And on the off chance the police get here first, I'd rather they not investigate this as a robbery. All that's to say, you can have these back, Creek. What about the papers? Where did you put them? Okay. Let's see here. The sword, yep. I gripped the handle with both hands and I brought it down on his neck. Thinking back, I dragged the tip across the floor, didn't I? Shit, probably got Miller's blood on it. That's sloppy. And stupid. Why the hell did I? No, forget it. There's nothing I can do about it anyway. Fingerprints can be wiped, but there's no cleaning agent on Earth that can hide blood from a modern forensics team. I'm not looking to do an encore performance of my reaction to those goddamn fickle bob boobies. What the fuck? The door? No. No. Oh, let me think. The desk. Did we get everything? The gun. Where's the gun? Anyone know? See a gun? Like, obviously the sword, the gun, things on the table, but that's it, right? The knife. Nothing on the table. We didn't take our gloves off then. Where's the gun? Auto finds? Autofine's not going anywhere. No evidence. Probably taking it with her? I don't know. I'm really looking. I'm like, is there a gun anywhere in this image? She was talking about the gun, but I'm trying to find it. Sure he dealt with it? Possibly. I don't want to leave anything to chance now. Am I good here? What else is there? See, the thing is, usually it will move me along when I've got everything. But I'm just trying to figure out where the gun would be. Like, I feel like it would be like right where Morgan is standing. The documents did not have her prints on it, but she did throw them on the floor recklessly. I would have put those back myself, but I mean, seems good. Yeah, okay, this feels like the scene's been set. Plus 10. A strange sensation erasing your own presence. A sense of supremely private accomplishment, like placing the last piece into a milk white jigsaw puzzle and then throwing it in the trash. It's not unpleasant, but I can't linger here any longer to save it. Now to draw this to a close. Thank God for the mask. I can still tell it smells god awful in here, but it's bearable. Rehydrated, sweat, and vomit. Sense full of adrenaline and sickly heat. Unfiltered, I'd be at risk of getting sick. If it weren't for all the blood. Right. What to do with you? Blindfolded, gags, hand-bound above him with plastic ties and linen wrapped. Beaten, bloody, and drugged. These syringes. They wanted him to stay conscious. Not very popular, are you? Still, you're not dead, and with these kind of injuries, you won't die soon. Not without a push. That might be the most charitable thing to do under these circumstances. He must have wished for death at least once during all this torture. Too bad. That bat that barred the door is now in splinters. Anyone walking in after me won't realize that this room was locked from the outside. This captive had somehow gotten his hands on a blade. There'd be nothing stopping him from stepping out of here and butchering his captors. The Blue Bloods will want someone to blame for the death of 4 of their men. And unlike the police, they won't bother arresting an innocent man who's putting up on trial for the world to see. They'll wrap things up for me. Woof woof. Hold that for me. As for the gun, what's with the... All I did was tuck the gun into your waistband, pal. Oh. Okay, I see how that would be distressing under the circumstances. Well, you can relax about that. It's not loaded. A few minutes from now, you're gonna wish it was. Once again? Out again already? Rest up while you can. When you wake up, you'll want to start running. Well, turns out she did deal with the gun. Just in a way. Like I practice. Irashai. Pardon? Keep working on it, kid. Bar Kintsugi. Oh my god, Sarah! Didn't mean to interrupt you in the middle of training your new employee. How's it working out? Bah, it is she, right? Never worked this close with an ad before. She is unbearably forgiving, so I doubt you'll get sued. She's fine. Good at cleaning, precise with her mixing, knows a hell of a lot of trivia. Popular with the younger crowd, I think. This is the place with the Android bartender. They talk like I installed a new karaoke machine. I didn't know you had a younger crowd. Funny. What's that make you, Grandma? More of a learning curve to her than I was expecting. Do you cheap out on her bass installs? It's like I have to teach her everything. Trust me, there's nothing cheap about Sarah. True, but yes, she can take a minute to when the learning the ropes. Grin and bear it a little while longer. Once she does find her footing, she'll have you worried about your job security in no time. Keep it up. I didn't have to do you the favor of hiring her, you know. Favor? Plenty of people out there would have killed to work at an up-and-coming, bespoke establishment like Bar Kintsugi. I think I hear them pounding on the door now. Technically, legally, you didn't hire anyone. I generously agreed to loan you my Android during the hours when I have no use for it. These kind of arrangements aren't uncommon. Androids can, in theory, work 24 hours a day indefinitely. But their users can't. Parents come home from work, people go to sleep, staff take holidays, offices close for the night. The end result of all that slack is a lot of Androids spend a good portion of their operating time waiting around. So the more enterprising owners loan them out during that downtime, ideally to businesses with complementary working hours. There are plenty of apps and HR software to help arrange it all, but Sarah's apprenticeship wasn't that on the books. As the fallout around David's death settled down, I came to realize how shortchanged I was in our paralegal agreement. She's handy for research and rote work, of course, but she's barely sleeps, rarely eats, finishes paperwork at lightning speed. I was spending more time finding shit to keep her busy than I was actually working. And of course, I value my alone time. It was on one of those long walks of mine that I recalled that Reinhardt was having trouble getting this bar up and running. Takes a village to keep the world's most advanced android busy. Yeah, loan whatever. Ooh, Japan cakes. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, loan whatever. Sarah's the one who clocks in and clocks out, does the work, cleans the bathroom. She's the employee. If she was an employee, you'd have to cover her benefits. Not in my current income bracket. I checked 3 times. Wait, you're not taking her paycheck, are you? It's not a paycheck. Don't lawyer me on this shit. Sarah can't earn a paycheck. She's not a person. She walks like a person and talks like a person and works like a person. The Supreme Court disagrees. By 13-0. Yeah, well, Supreme Courts have been wrong about that kind of thing before, haven't they? That's Morgan, I think you just accept this loss here and move on. Morgan, I think you take this L. Do I hear touche? Yep. Oopsie. Sarah, tell boss here what you spend your salary on. I've started purchasing cases of wine. Wait, what? Wait, what's that? What those deliveries were? As the wine appreciates, its resale value will increase. Especially if I can predict which vintages will be in high demand. So I don't have a bank account. I can't earn interest in the traditional sense, but if I stay up to date on the sommelier reviews, so you can resell the wine at a profit. And what do you do with that money? Stop it, you're making her depressed. I did also purchase a cache of sheet music. What? What for? Practice. You're muttering. Forget it, none of my business. Speaking of business, the place isn't exactly packed. Well, are you volunteering to help with that? There are lawyer bars, right? Where all the lawyers go after trials. Kinsuki could be a lawyer bar. Yeah, those lawyer bars are usually close to the courthouse though. Just don't. Everything's signed and paid. I can't think about what ifs on location anymore. This is the spot that was available and I need a soda water with all this stress on my stomach. Sarah, 10 bar. Ahem. What are you buying, stranger? What was that? Boss has been teaching me his bar side manners. He says that his clientele expect a certain degree of maturity when they come here. And so you're using a deeper voice? Is it not working? Please let me know when you're ready to order. Oh, let's read. Did someone leave this behind after their lunch break? It'd be trouble if they left anything work related on here. I'll help them out by throwing it in the trash after I'm done reading. Morgan, when trying to do a good deed, I'll try to benefit a little bit on this. Cirrus beats new fuel named in new lawsuit. Made waves in the scientific community for the dozenth time in their storied career when they announced that they had patented the process for distilling a new helium-based fuel, one intended to replace hydrogen for combustion engines, ranging from personal vehicles to full-size. Helium? You mean that thing that's in less supply than hydrogen? I don't know about that, man. A few days later, they made a headline again when that patent was leaked to the global net. Now Proteca, investment firm and longtime financial broker of Dr. Cirrus, has filed a lawsuit alleging not only that Dr. Cirrus failed in their responsibilities to protect their investment, but actually allowed the leak to occur. To ask to respond to the suit into questions about their reoccurring legal woes. Two hydrogens together to get a helium? Yeah, we can. We can. Do they have like working fusion reactors? These fuckers definitely have cold fusion? I don't know about that. They might, but if they do, obviously it's a lot easier to get helium, but because that would just be a byproduct of the operation. For those who may not be familiar, what makes your process for distilling helium fuel so valuable? This world, if you're not plugged into an outlet, you're running on a battery or you're burning fuel. Yep, true. That's true in our world too. For ad level research computer systems. No comment. Sorry, the fact that you said sustainably there with a straight face, knowing how our world works, I mean, come on. You get none chips. You get 2 points, as Morgan would put it. Batteries are useful, but they scale poorly. True. They already wrapped up the climate crisis. Jamie, in that they lost. True, they've already lost. There are no fossil fuels left. Oh, fuck. Light enough to be weightless in your pocket, a battery-powered plane couldn't generate enough lift to get off the ground. True. Aside from a number of closely guarded national reserves, there are no fossil fuels left. The wells were pumped dry years ago. So after we were forced to adapt in a rather abrupt period of growing pains, hydrogen has become the global standard for fueling long-distance machinery. Therein lies the problem. The plane I took to get here runs on hydrogen. It produces nothing but water vapor. What's the problem? The problem is the laborers fueling your plane before it took off had their fingers crossed the entire time, afraid that if the absolute grounding field failed, one static spark could blow up the whole airport. Yeah. And now I get your chips. You do not get your chips. What makes helium superior? The helium-2 fuel we've developed is not pure helium, to be clear, but near enough. Unlike hydrogen fuels, what we've created is non-combustible. Bullshit. I don't believe you. Like 3 left. I literally don't believe you've created a fuel that's non-combustible. Fuel power combustion engines. Helium-2 is non-combustible, but in the presence of our specialized catalyst, it can be ignited to generate force comparable to, or in some tests superior to, the horsepower exerted by a hydrogen engine. So far, it's expensive to distill. I was about to say, this is 2 components now that you need. And it's expensive. So this is like really fucking far from being like commercial. Cast materials are even more expensive to produce. Oh shit. You have yet to even simulate a profitable commercial flight, for instance. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's a pretty serious catch. Steel wasn't profitable before the Bessemer process. Things panned out for the steel tycoons just fine. You're hoping for someone else to do that, improve upon your process? I know where you're going with this, but the answer is yes, of course. It'd be overjoyed for someone to improve upon what we built. That's essentially what Protechia has accused you of doing, isn't it? Leaking your data intentionally so that others around the world are free to start experimenting with it? I don't think it's legally wise of me to try and summarize Protecha's lawsuit against me in my laboratory. Listen, energy is limitless. It cannot be expended. By that virtue, there cannot be a scarcity of it. You will never have a monopoly of it. And since it is infinite, the correct market price for it will, over time, on long enough timescale, trend to zero. Technically, I mean, he's not right. It's not limitless. There is like a total energy of the universe, but it's functionally limitless. If you can capture it correctly, right? I don't think entropy is real. Well, entropy is like the loss of energy into other forms, right? If you could capture it perfectly, then in theory, you could have near limitless energy. The lifeline timescale. Well, theoretically infinitely reusable. There's a lot of like catches to that. To do anything useful for it? Yeah. Which you will have if captured properly. But I don't think I'm being cynical when I say there are people who don't like that very basic math. Can't do anything with that? True! I'm going to stop you there because you're getting into our next topic, your politics. You consider yourself a political person? No. Are you or have you been a member of the Communist Party? No. Do you believe science should be apolitical? Yes. I mean, yeah. So why is it that you are so frequently invoked as an example of the liberal bias in the sciences? Because fucking people who are conservative are fucking nut jobs. That's why. Science is not political. Science is progress. Moving forward, learning more about our universe, deepening our understanding of its mechanics, and that process will never be conservative. Science doesn't move backwards. Based. Calling all conservatism backwards is not what I said. But you're free to interpret it as you like. What's not open to debate is this. What makes something science has nothing to do with who works on it. It has nothing to do with class or power or money or even majority rule. Science is reproducible. No miracles required. Miracles are prohibited. If one person can do it, anyone can do it. And so science is inherently egalitarian. If someone feels that because of that science has a bias against them, then that speaks only to their own politics and not to the failings of the scientific community too. Based. All right, never mind. This dude's fucking rocks. Holy based. For a pop sci figurehead, Cyrus sure keeps busy. Yes, I don't have any evidence proving they aren't legitimately brilliant. I can't take seriously anyone who guest stars on TV that much. Can't deny they seem to be making progress with new kinds of, not renewable energies, but fuels? Technically, his energy is not renewable. He says we'll get to that point. Right now, it's just fuels. New fuels. Some of the only new fuels we've seen in decades. Could be decades longer before it's actually practical. You Mr. Nice name out of your mouth, Morgan. But any new fuels has to be less volatile than hydrogen. Please don't throw that data pad out. Its owner might come back. Perish the thought. Though now that you planted the idea into my head. A self-fulfilling prophecy! Sarah doesn't know. Have any space infrastructure? We don't know. Rain must have searched for months to find affordable underground real estate that wasn't flooded, already filled to the brim with server farms. Putting Sarah on cleaning duty was a good call. If any of the tilling in here starts to grime up, it could start feeling like a subway station bathroom real fast. Cat? It's a lucky cat. Yeah. Did you say something, Adonai? No. I suddenly got the strong impression that there was something you wanted to say. Don't know what you're talking about. As you say. Peruse. It's a well-stocked bar. Got tea and coffee too, if that's what you're into. Nice ambience, soft lighting, warm on a chill night, and a cool on a hot day. All that's left to do is wait for customers to stream in. Any day now. I think I'm ready to order. Of course. Now I'll take this one, Sarah. Go wipe the tables for a bit. No one has sat at them since I last cleaned them. Then pretend to clean them like a normal employee. Understood. What's got you so tense? Take a wild guess. Did Sarah ask for a raise? Be serious, Red. What happened last night? Your information was accurate for the most part. Spot of mid-level blue bloods had it. Seems like they were told to sit on it. And were they willing to sell? Nope. Laughed at my price, called me a spoiled Meg, and kicked my butt out of the door. They weren't curious where you got your information from. Honestly, no. They rushed me out of there pretty fast once they heard my offer. They're expecting more company. I got the impression they had work to get back to. Okay. Anything else I should know? No. Anything you want to ask me? How did you two meet? The tables. On my second day, you told me not to over-polish them in order to keep things lo-fi. Is that an inappropriate of a question? You've lived in the city for decades, boss, but Adonai didn't move here until she started her apprenticeship at Masters and... You're gonna tell people my whole life story at every possible opportunity. I'll just shred my resume and start mailing you around instead. Have we met? How we met, huh? Well, that's a story. Not very good. I'll skip to the end and cut to the heart of our relationship, Sarah. I pay Reinhardt for a finder's fee and he tells me where I can get into high-stakes poker games. It's not a lie. Now you know my terrible secret. Disappointed? It's not illegal to gamble. I don't go on my phone and wager my paycheck stubs on point spreads. I gamble. And since I can't afford the entrance fees for one of those anonymous masked ball cult vibe blimp casinos the rich go to, I count on your boss here to find me tables to play at. Guilty. You travel the lower words to gamble illegally? Truth be told, I've had my suspicions. Seeing you go out at such odd hours without so much as your phone. You gonna turn me in? So much about her. Irashai. Or is it more firm? Irashai. Two firm-looking men in finely dressed black suits with shades tinted so dark they must need modded glasses to see from behind them. But the subtle color palette, they stand out. It's hard not to when clothes that look that expensive. Those are some kind of pin on them. Matching pins. More emphasis on the raw. Oh, thank you. I think I just heard the delivery drones bumping around outside, Sarah. Will you check out the back? Your vintages might have arrived. Go on. Please excuse me then. Afternoon then, gentlemen. What can I do for you? Mr. Diamani. Pardon us for dropping in without first making an appointment. No trouble at all. Still getting the place cleaned up. I'm awfully embarrassed that I failed to realize the property lay within your borders. If you come to me to the back, I'd be happy to settle whatever debt. You look like petty landlords to you. If you owed us tribute, you'd know it by now. My mistake. Well, if you're here for information, I'd gladly wheel and deal. How about you? We're not here to shop either. We are looking for Morgan. Well, that name ring any bells? Mr. Diamani? Right. Listen, boys, I'm not sure. Sorry. Had something blaring in my earbud. I'm a Morgan Esquire specifically. How can I be of service? Mostly practice criminal defense, but I do offer a few other services. You two look corporate. I can recommend some good workplace attorneys. Got a business card somewhere. We're not interested in that. Of course not. Well, I'm flattered that you come all the way here to find me. Must have already tried the home office. We set something up for. You need to come with us now, ma'am? Yeah, I thought you said there was nothing I needed to know. Business day is over for me, gentlemen. Can this matter wait until tomorrow? Does it look like it can? Great manners, this one. Time sensitive then? Alright, we'll have to reflect that. Send us the bill. We can afford it. Music to any lawyer's ears. So who is we then? You think you're funny compared to you? Morgan! These fine gentlemen are from House Ikaria. Information you went on of your previous way to collect and previous exes will unlock new dialogue. It pays to stay informed. I'm familiar. You are? I've seen their name in the papers. Yeah, let's go! Plastering their name all over uptown opera houses and homes for the sick or whatever. But I didn't recognize that name when those blue bloods were cursing it last night, so maybe that propaganda's working. Doesn't matter how generous they are at galas. They're still in the richest, most powerful criminal organization in the city. Rich and powerful. Why bother with the criminal qualifier? Ahem. Sorry, might I ask about the nature of this engagement? Situation is developing, Mr. Diamani. We appreciate your patience. That's not what you want to hear. So I gathered. Your presence has been requested at the family estate, ma'am. For business or the Ikarura are always business. Shall we get you your coat? Such gentlemen knew those suits weren't just for show. I can see myself out just fine, though. Don't I? What's going on? Are you going somewhere? That's why they pay me the big bucks. These men are very athletic. Perhaps I should come with you? They want to arm wrestle. You'll be the first to know. Call me when you get there, yeah? I'm actually in danger. I want to be conscious when I arrive, but I appreciate the thought. Boss, who are those men really? New clients from Morgan, really? Hopefully. Hopefully? Yeah, hopefully. Because if House Ikaria puts her on retainer, she'll be able to buy you as much wine as you'd like. But what do you mean by house? Alright, pay attention. If I'm going to lecture, might as well try to teach. Start with ice. You want a lot of it, but low surface area, so never use crushed, okay? Starts to melt into the liquor, waters the whole thing down. Understood. 1.5 ounces of vodka. And what do we look for in a good vodka? Smoothness, correct. It's a mark of quality, making the bitter go down easy. So the nobility, you know what that is. Historically, the ruling class is enforced through economic or military might and maintained by familial relations. Juice full of lime. Look at the little spring. For a little spring and a consistent color across the skin. Who is tied up in the bathroom? You'd be correct, Fallen. Definitely about that. Nobility, old money, is another word for it. And the older it is, the slower it moves. Only so much wealth you can accrue in one lifetime, collecting from serfs and selling houses. But the Industrial Revolution comes along, shows the world what real wealth acquisition looks like. Then you get new money. Which always dwarfs old money. Inflation and split inherit and shave away at any generational wealth that's liquid. Now, new money and old money, they don't like each other. Doesn't new money eventually become old money? The old money can help it. No one ever becomes old money. Triple sec, 1 ounce. My family was new money. Tried to make the transition. join the right clubs, shake the right hands, make the right marriages. Laugh at the bad jokes. Bad jokes can be entertaining in their own right. Not the kind of bad I'm talking about. I don't understand. That's alright, you shouldn't need to know. What do you mean your family was new money? Times changed about 30 years ago. Recession, depression, civil unrest, political upheaval. Most people, they were so scared they could barely talk about tomorrow, let alone next year. But a decent man's chaos is a cruel man's investment opportunity. So everyone else was panic selling off whatever they could to buy food and water. A certain type of personality was buying for pennies on the dollar, as it were. Give me a peel from that lime, as shallow as possible. Any white you see is just bitter. 1 ounce of gin. They were rough years, but they passed. And at the end of it, some were left standing with a lot more than they came in with. New money. A new kind of new money. The new nobility. Neobility. If you're writing a think piece. Unabashed oligarchs and devourer barons. The government of the world tried to re-privatize the industries they had taken over. With emergency powers, they were there to snatch them. And they started at the bottom. Steel, fuel, grain, machine parts, medicine. Here enters House Icaria. Or that's how they exited. They went into the Red Decade as the Icaria Cartel, drug smugglers and extortionists, thieves and murderers. They came out as one of the richest, most respectable names in the country. Not that they actually stopped doing any of that thieving and murdering, mind you. Put the top on tight, then shake. So they are a crime family, like the mob. This is the 21st century, kid. It's muddier than that. House Icaria is not literally one family, not even one race or creed. They're simply the strongest criminal organization in the city on paper, but not in practice. Practice is what they're lacking. Haven't had to get their hands dirty. Haven't had to maintain a presence in the lower wards in years. They make their profits from investments, blackmail, and more than a little insider trading. So they're criminal, yes, but their muscles atrophied. Time for a taste test. Oh, that's not right at all. The hell did I forget, boss? There must have been other criminal organizations 30 years ago. Other poised to take advantage of the changing times. Yeah. So what did the Icaria do to set them apart from the rest back then? Act stupid. Most important ingredient. Child blood? Drop of grenadine? The Lady Maria. Ooh, it's beautiful. This is nothing. We'd use frosted glass if this was for a customer. Looks like a ruby in the right lighting. Grenadine. That's just a photo. You can't fool me, game. If you do end up helping Red work with the Icaria, don't let the warmth of their golden furnishings confuse you. All that glitters is cold. 4:03 p.m. August 14th, 2086. It was a quiet and uneventful drive in the back of the limousine. The privacy, at least, was nice. With Abbott and Costello riding in the front, I had no way of getting information out of them, not even passively. Instead, I spent the whole ride trying to play out all the different ways this could go. I haven't liked any of them so far. Suppose I should have felt relief or gratitude when we pulled out outside an imposing skyscraper instead of an alley. Suppose a good sign that no one's put a bag over my head or struck a needle in my neck. I don't feel like celebrating. For all I know, they really don't have a clue about what I did in the lower wards last night. For some reason, they placed their attention on me. There's little I hate more than unwanted advances. There we go. I'm also not a fan of being made to wait. Why am I just sitting out here? In here? We were too late. Only by a few minutes. He filled the time slot. Already? Then we've got no chance of. Maybe if his other meeting went well? Are we on hold, gentlemen? In the world's most expensive waiting room? Quiet. I take it he's glaring at me behind those lenses, but I'm more interested in the sweat glistening on his forehead. Somehow, of the three of us, I'm the most relaxed. This is becoming embarrassing. You mean Echo reference? Based? Can I at least take in the view for a while we're here? You can take photos if you like, so long as you're quiet. Really? No, your phone won't work in here. Go figure. There we go. See, that's a perfect time to, first of all, save. Ba-boom. Then pull up this window, put it over here, bring up Icicle. The dolls. Made me think of Valhalla. Welcome to Brawlhalla. Sorry, I've been like poisoned. Brain poisoned, that is. They'll release the sequel to it one day, true. At some point, I'm sure. Fuck! Not to be like, come on, not another active item, but come on, man, not another active item. Oh, okay, wait, flash active? I might be able to do this. Okay, let's try Yum Heart. I'm so fucking good. All right. Rainbow worm. Yeah, that makes sense. 12. Always unlocked. I've been taking supplements for 2 months and my memory hasn't gotten better. That's because memory is also something that has to be trained. You need the supplements and to train yourself. It's not something that magically gets better. You're no longer like a baby. Unfortunately for your brain, I suppose. That's the problem? True. By the way, there is no, I got some blood work today. A lot of blood tests. There is nothing that isn't consistent with the other people in my house. Which means to say I need to exercise more. I need to exercise a lot more and eat better. No shit. Yep. That confirms you've got blood in you. I definitely got blood in me. I had to fill like 6 vials today. Ugh. I got told a bunch of stuff, but the blood work came back with stuff I already knew was a problem, and I hoped to be less of a problem. Still a problem. Black feather. That's 13 also. Here's the wild part. Do you know how long they said to wait to see before my stomach stops hurting? Take a guess. 2 weeks. Nope. 6 weeks. 6 fucking weeks. They're like, that is the possible time it takes for a colon to recover. And I was just like, are you joking? Holy shit. They did say that their best guess was just IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, which is possible, but like I didn't really have a whole lot of the major symptoms, so it must have just been a minor case of it. If it was that. Let me think, what else? Nothing else really that you need to know, you know, but not rebirth, huh? IBS for icicle instead of evil eye? No, 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 no. What do you do? Teleportation when damaged. Me when I'm the world's easiest thing to guess. What? Is that not what that does? I knew it couldn't be black gray. Cursed skull, right? Wrath of the Lamb. My ass was like, it's not cursed eye. Darn. I never take cursed skull and it shows. Because it's bad, for the most part. Oh fuck, we got some bangers on here. Ugh. Birthright? I think maybe has almost. Red items. There's a few more than that. Does red key show map stuff? No. I'm thinking, one sec. Poison. Items that give a damage buff. I don't know. Items that affect item pool. Chaos, Rosary, Birthright, Magic Orb? I think it's this. Yeah, okay. One of these is mapping, so okay, there you go. Full heals. I always forget that red stew fully heals. Yeah, Rosary puts the Bible into fucking pools. It's a real piece of shit item. Anyway. I always forget that red stew does that. 1 purple. City Forest. Are you like purple? I guess that's not purple, but it's shiny as purple. It's also a dual type. Good job, brain. No, that's not in the forest. Forest purple. Impidimp? No. Okay. Personally, I would call that mostly pink, but it's fine. Hoppip? No. Weird looking Ninaran, true. What is this? There's no way that's Mawile. What is this? I still think it looks a lot like Hoppet. What the fuck is this? I don't know. My brain keeps saying that shit's Hoppip. That's not Hoppip. Sizzlipede. The horn on a male blank's forehead contains a powerful poison. This is a very cautious Pokemon, always straining its large ears. Wait, is this actually Nidoran? It is! That is Simisair? No, Pansage. Pansear. Yep. That's what I meant to say. Fgeodal. Ignore this. It was not a recent... Oh man, it's only getting dark now. It's like 8:20. Had a medium weight weapon. Heavy, medium, light. Never stuck foot on the ground. Okay. Poisoned Clonopin was in the upstairs balcony. Okay. Poison Clonopin was not in the computer room. A rare vase was not on the upstairs balcony. Huh. Is this that easy? If the Clonopin was not on the if this was lying, if this was not on the upstairs balcony and it wasn't in the computer room, it would put it here. And then it says the poison Clonopin was not, no, the rare vase was not on the upstairs balcony. Which means this and this. Does that work? This goes here, which means this is here. This is this. Oh shit, it does work out. You were lying, Bishop Reserve. What the fuck? I did that one as a joke. God, I'm good. Any Akinator guesses today while I go turn on the light? It is dark. Waldo? Does Waldo have any lore? I should know about? Let me look up what Waldo looks like. I'm sure I'm gonna need to go through this a couple of times here. Waldo. Ah, probably not. It is like, no, probably. It's like a dark brown. Character fight, no. Genie, no. Human skin, yes. Go to school, don't know. No. No. No, maybe. Wait. Been in a movie. Bolos had to have been in a movie, right? No, it looks like just a bunch of video games and TV series. Huh. Live in America. Oh. They live in Waldo's house. Looks it's UK based, so I don't know. Is your character real? No. From a book, yes. Adult, yes. Strike. Ah, fuck. He didn't even bother. He's like, yeah, you're thinking of Wally/Waldo. Yeah. Only 90,000 times. Not bad, I suppose. Not bad. You got that shit fast. Oh shit. Reading. Is trying too hard to look unconcerned if I sit down, start reading the news? Maybe. But my boredom outweighs my appreciation at the moment. Not my fault they failed to be sufficiently intimidating. City ahead of next month. They host one of the most competitive political conventions in recent memory, and the senator Mathing expected to face significant opposition from party outliers before securing his nomination. While the broader nation eagerly anticipates the oncoming political circus, city officials are already under fire for supposedly lack of sufficient convincing security. Record highly numbered for the police department, including fully unrestricted overtime for officers of all ranks, but a coalition of private security services, including White Adder, Fang, and Demico, have released a press statement urging City Council to consider contracting their services ahead of the convention. Heartbreak was bad enough. Now we're hearing the cops are dying in the lower wards. When are city officials going to say enough is enough? We have the utmost respect for all first responders. None of us are blaming the hardworking police for these failures. How could they succeed when political insiders insist that they try to apprehend criminals with one hand tied behind their back? Our contracted forces have world-class training in crowd pacification, preemptive de-escalation, and enhanced interrogation techniques. And any of the subhuman scum who empathize with anarchists won't dare to leave their mother's basements once we can get our boots on the ground. That's a guarantee. Yeah, okay, buddy. Reach out to them, ask whether they would issue a request for service proposals on such services. The city's total population is expected to swell next month as the national political spotlight draws lobbyists, delegates, political action committees, and voters in ahead of the 2-week-long process. 2-week-long process, huh? He spoke to express optimism about the increased economic activity and tourism the convention is expected to bring, but some who refuse to give their permission to publish their event infos rudely and loudly voice their criticism. 2 weeks for a convention when the nominee was decided 2 years ago? It's a joke, and we're the punchline. Putting the bill to pay cops to stand around outside parties full of thousands of do-nothing staffers and campaign managers. Kind of based. Do outfits including Dinmars of the Master Nation. Okay. Less offensive than a bare advertisement or paywall, but why list your donors mid-article? All this make my eyes glaze over. Whatever. I got the important part. The city's hosting the convention next month, putting pressure on the council to vote on hiring mercenaries. Whether or not it brings in private security contractors on top of the massive policing budget. Makes a little difference to me. Cops and mercs have different quirks, but they all share the same blind spots. I'll be just fine. How the average law-abiding citizen will put up with them clogging the streets for 2 weeks, though? Not like it'll be the least popular political decision made next month. Everybody knows Mathings will be the candidate. That was decided years ago. The contested convention will just be him finding a balance between how much public opposition he's willing to stomach. And it's how many favors he feels like giving out. This country's already a circus without any bread. You think the least they could do is make the performances entertaining? What was that in the article about cops dying in the lower wards anyway? Pretty heavy-handed, just make up that kind of thing, even when pearl clutching and pitching yourself at the same time. Not a whole lot to look at here, huh? Go fish? If I wasn't hyper aware of the flickering sky hanging over my head, this could make for a lovely watering hole. But those probably aren't even real fish down there. Literal children are capable of keeping goldfish alive. So of course the 0.1 percenters can't manage it. Maybe they'd spin it when their pallid bodies float to the top because some idiot raised the water temperature 2 degrees. It'd certainly be easy to scoop out. You're an impatient, undignified idiot. You could argue that it's an efficient way to fish. The illusion isn't unimpressive, I guess. Windows into the heavens, sparkling like raindrops across a puddle. Might even be appealing if it wasn't trying to be something it's not. You look up and see hexagons above you in the lower ward too. Rich or poor, people just can't imagine themselves under an open sky anymore. Not even in their wildest dreams. Well, I've looked around at everything that caught my eye. Now I'm all out of ideas. Everything except... Maybe they don't know we're here. I'm going to try knocking. What are you? Hey. Before I get the chance, creaking oak draws my attention to an alternate entrance on the other side of the water. Morgan was really about to knock on the door, huh? Hi. The actual case yet, have we? Nope. Stop staring, get a move on. Is that the kind of man walking out of this place? Who's waiting for me inside? We're in the Karia Tower residential floors. Grand Hall. Pomp and circumstance, ceremony and ritual. Some reason I thought the Mafia, of all people, would be a little bit more efficient in their execution. A little more honest about what they are. Evidently not. Artifice, with every glance, costumes and makeup abound. Is this disappointment that even here, in the supposed bowels of the underworld, there's no escaping the etiquette of it all? She's the one. Doesn't look like much. Throwing their posture stiffens even further, a true feat. Their necks subtly turned to a pair of doors in the back. Each of them attuned to some signal I'm not receiving. Be still, the young master returns. You're late. Hold on, wait. Young master, sir, everyone slow down. We came as soon as we found her, sir. Traffic was... There's just some sassy lost child! One Punch Man reference. Silence. Yes, sir. What time were you told to return by? 4 o'clock, sir. And what time is it now? Permission to check my phone? You're late. You were tasked with finding one woman and bringing her here in a timely manner. Sir, we'll speak when I tell you to, and not one word further, or else I'll have your teeth removed. By way of curbside. Gulp. Is this a prank? Am I being recorded? He who wishes to fight must first count the lost. So says Sun Tzu. Please let this be a prank. I don't think you can fathom the cost of your tardiness has incurred. The lead up to my execution is just some kid reading from Art of War. I might just... What is the #1 rule in this family? Timeliness, sir. When money gets wasted, it can be replaced. But time only goes one way. It's always running out. The loss is permanent. Every second wasted is a scar on this house's face. Timeliness is next to godliness. So say I. Oh God. You two ever waste my time? The house's time again? Got to be dragged through hell. I'm already there. Now both of you get out. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Useless. You. Red woman, you're being addressed. Forget pride. I just want this over with as fast as possible. You're the lawyer, correct? You may answer. As fast as possible. I am a lawyer. Morgan, criminal defense, mister. How should I address you? As an outsider, do. As all outsiders do by my name. Makoto of House Ikaria. You, Morgan, criminal defense. Have the great honor of being summoned before me. Don't bother bowing. Once you start, you'll end up prostrated all day, and we have important work to do. Right. Out of an abundance of respect for your time, Makoto, I should let you know that I still have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh. I'll have them kneel on a bed of nails later, or some such thing. Miss Defense. Mrs. Really? The house has need of your legal services. Oh. Would you give me a moment to clear my throat? I need to switch gears. Un instant. Right then, so you want to hire me. One of our own is being slaughtered by multiple homicidal charges. You will defend him. Slandered. You want to hire me, and I'm flattered, Makoto, but did you pull my name out of a hat? Pick a random page in the phone book? I have many books on my phone. Libraries full of esoteric knowledge spread across countless tomes. You will have to be more specific. Sorry, I misspoke. What I mean is, this is House Ikaria. You must keep a small army of lawyers on retainer. Surely any one of them would be happy to help you. True, we have lawyers. Competent ones, expensive ones, and some who are both. But the best of them are all preoccupied. That's it, they're all just preoccupied. Preoccupied means busy. Thanks. But I'm still not sure how my name specifically was. Do you have a customer survey you want filled out? Mrs. Defends. You were recommended. What does it matter how it came about? Normally, it wouldn't matter. But when the client I'd been recommended to is one of the richest, most well-connected families in the country, it gives me pause. I don't have any friends in high places. Not anymore. That makes it hard to see this as a favor. Not when my employer doesn't even know my goddamn name. We're defending someone against incrimination in our own murder. The murder we did. Jamie, that's what literally happened in the prologue of this game. A nice refresh. Of course, my apologies. No doubt you have other questions. Very well, I'll permit you to ask them. Such a gentleman. I wasn't brought here because of what happened last night. Then this is just another job. Meaning all of this starting back at the bar. This has all been their idea of a power move. Thank you for insisting that I get to visit your estate in person. It's beautiful here. An oasis of old world sensibility amidst a desert of steel and neon eyesores. Is what the house elders say. I've never seen anything like it. Matches your family's reputation for class. Ha! My family's reputation is power, not class. I'd take it a step forward and guess you're renowned for violence rather than power. That's a mute point. Violence can be classy. From how this house is talked about in the headlines every now and then the drive over, the nature of your family's reputation seems to vary greatly depending on whom you ask. Some think you've got half the gang in the city under your control. Others think you've left all that behind and are no worse than any other corporate family. Are you expecting me to ask what you think? What I think is that I'll need some basic information if I'm to adequately defend your interests. We're financiers. You don't say. Lending, investing, taking over, buying out. The Ikaria Financial Group was founded nearly 2 centuries ago. Loaning funds is high risk and high reward, but as you can see, our results speak for themselves. Ikaria Financial Group. Fancy way of saying they got their start as mobster loan sharks. It's not impossible to get this rich with loan sharking alone. But such unsavory work wouldn't get them into ballrooms and boardrooms tiers of society. You gotta rip people off with mortgages to do that. Is lending them my house's only income stream? No. Through Aria, our holding company, the house controls any number of what a civilian like you might call legitimate enterprises. And yes, we did found the Renogen Pharmaceutical Corporation, but what's past is prologue. Renogen? They're the drug company, one of the biggest. You're saying you've no relation to Renogen presently. The company went public years ago, and Aurea divested our shares not long after. We were given one seat on the board as a formality. That's the extent of it. Given, a family like this only takes. Why is he suddenly so humble? He doesn't know the meaning of the word. If he's downplaying their pull within Renogen, then the house must have a reason to want to distance themselves from the company. You're being very modest, Makoto, and more than a little vague. It's only polite. It's unnecessary talking to your lawyer. You aren't my lawyer, Mrs. Defends, but you will be working for me. You'll have to become accustomed to putting your needs second. He's deflecting. If he's trying to be subtle about it, he's not doing it well. I doubt it's possible a company with as big a boot heel as Renogen has no relation to anything that happens in this city, but I'll drop it for now. I'm in no rush to wade into boardroom politics again anytime soon. I'd like to know a bit more about you, actually. How long have you? I'm the only son of Raphael Ikaria, and the only grandson of Daisuke Ikaria, CEO of Ikaria Financial Group, patriarch of this family and chairman of the house. Yeah, those titles are all one and the same. As one destined to succeed the headship, commanding the family servants is my responsibility and my birthright. So if one of them needs a lawyer, it falls to you. When our loyal men, women, and their families need help, it is my solemn duty to ensure they are taken care of. And your age? What a boorish question. I knew that peasants raised outside of Stratus had little understanding of the finer things, but I assumed that one with a law degree would be educated enough to know what is and isn't appropriate to discuss. Just because I am younger than some does not mean I am any less capable of managing the people who work for me. Does it, men? Sir! No, sir! You definitely command their respect. That is no coincidence. One of the most frequently noted characteristics of great men who have remained great is loyalty to their subordinates. So says George S. Patton. That's so interesting. It's an important point. Perhaps another quote is called for. I don't think that's necessary. I'll grant you another. If soldiers are punished before they have grown attached to you, they will not prove submissive. And unless submissive, then they will be practically useless. So says Sun Tzu. Back to back! Yes, the second quotation was called for in this instance. If only to emphasize to you that no one stays unless to House Ikaria for very long. Stays useless, one way or another. I'll admit I was a little taken aback to step off an elevator and into your enclosure out there. The gardens, yes, our groundskeepers work hard on them. Does the illusion of the sky come from a live recording of somewhere else? Or is it generated programmatically? That'd take quite the equation. It is impressive, yes. As for how it works, I don't have the technical minutiae in front of me at the moment. That's okay. Of course it is. A lion does not concern himself with the exterior decorations of the sheep. It's your exterior and your decorations. What does it matter anyway? If you want the specifics so badly, I'll have one of the servants put you in contact with the contracting firm. That's alright. Something tells me the consultation alone would break my bank account. I do appreciate the warm welcome, Makoto of House Ikaria, really. But legal consultations are usually more private than this. Are we certain we need the peanut gallery? Let it not be said that House Ikaria is not accommodating of its guests, but more than capable of compensating for this nut allergy you allude to. That's so sweet of you! You know, Morgan really can play to people, huh? But do all these guards really need to be present for this conversation? If you're referring to the additional security, it can't be helped, circumstances being what they are. Circumstances? If you're referring to my retainers in general, I suggest you step back into the garden and take a deep breath. Clearly, the city's fumes do not agree with your constitution. You must be lightheaded if you think you're worthy to hold a one-on-one audience with the next head of this illustrious house. He's a prodigy to be this insufferable at such a young age. Thank you for indulging my curiosity so graciously, Makoto. Conquer the stingy thought generosity. So says Buddha. Correct. Perhaps your education is not quite as deficient as I feared. But I should make clear that in this case, I was using the quote to subtly imply that you are stingy with your own generosity. Got it. Yep. Shall we move on? I believe you mentioned a homicide. Multiple homicides. Tell me more. My head of security was arrested by the police last night in the lower wards. They found him brutally beaten, drugged, and tortured. And instead of bringing him straight to the hospital, they arrested him for murder. He's been framed, and he must prove his innocence. Un instant. Is there something wrong with your voice? Is this that peanut allergy you mentioned? No, I just lost my train of thought for a second there. I'm not used to my own luck changing this fast. One of the richest families in Look City wants me to pay me to prove a man's innocent for a crime I framed him for? Right then, might I ask why he was found in the lower wards? I had the impression that Ikaria territory is generally positioned more vertically. This whole city is our territory, but it's true that our presence is felt more strongly in some areas than others. They captured him early yesterday. He was ambushed by cowards and dragged down to that stain of a neighborhood to be tortured senselessly. Well, he was tortured, I can attest to that much. But I don't believe in senseless violence. There's always a purpose, and it's usually staring you in the face. People just don't like making eye contact. Do you have any idea why he was taken or by whom? It was by the Blue Bloods. They made no effort to hide it. In a worthy opponent, I might call that commendable, but knowing them, they're just too stupid to value deniability. I'm sure there's no love lost between your groups, but kidnapping and torturing is beyond the pale, I agree. And the police are even worse. I suspected no help from those incompetent fools, but these charges they're making, they're utterly ridiculous. Of course they are, but don't worry, I'm confident that. To think they wanted to pin 5 murders on him. You think Morgan's gonna have a heart attack? 5? Did you say 5? Yes, 5. It's absurd. I can only take credit for 4 bodies. Acting so high and mighty, so affronted, so eager to blame us for the deaths of one of their officers. A dead cop? Is this what those mercs were advertising themselves with? What do you mean one of their officers? Was there a UC or... No, they made the ridiculous claim that he killed some uniform while resisting arrest. As if a member of our house would fear prison. I should have never dared to think I got lucky here. These circuses sound very complex, Makoto, and the police take the death of one of their own very seriously. What makes you so certain that this man's innocent? Because the man's name is Sosuke Ikaria, the Hound. I've known him all my life. All 3 or 4 years of it. There is no individual more honorable, more devoted, more trustworthy. And not once have I ever known him to be violent, impulsive. He didn't do this. I know he didn't do this, but proving that is your job. About that. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, Makoto, but you will. If for no other reason than because we shall pay you more than your customary receive for a contract. Considerably more. Not everything's a question of money. Yes, your meaning is taken. It needn't be silver and gold. You'll have no complaints with your compensation. The favor of House Ikaria can go a long way in this city. As can our wrath. I don't appreciate being threatened. I don't find it funny even coming from a kid. However, the state thinks whoever killed those 4 Blue Bloods also killed a cop. I can't afford to sit this hand out. They'll go over every centimeter of that building. One wrong move, one hair out of place. If I lose here, I lose, period. But if I win, throwing an Ikaria-sized wallet in the pot beforehand is all upside. I understand, Makoto of House Ikaria. I'll take Sosuke's case. You say that as if it were ever in doubt. A true prodigy. But he might be right. Maybe it never was. I chose to put that gun into this Sosuke's hands, when I could have just plunged that knife into his temple. Maybe the line drawn from that moment to the razor edge I'm walking right now is perfectly straight. A line drawn from one point to another is always perfectly straight. A better metaphor would be a bullet's trajectory. For all the talk of wind resistance and breathing patterns and the Coriolis effect and chaos theory, you can't exactly act surprised when your shot lands right where the crosshairs were pointing. Woo! She says that like she knows, Lamau. Morgan's my last name, by the way, before you start writing any checks. You You should have enunciated. For her to be involved in this without... It does, yes. Especially with the extra body involved. Hey there, boss. Of course I'm fine. What do you think was going to happen? Yeah, all good news. I got quite the paycheck coming my way. Maybe bad news for you if you get a loud crowd tonight. Large crowd tonight. Yeah, tell Sarah to meet me at the police station address I'm about to send. I've got work for her to do. It'll be quite the paycheck indeed waiting for me, assuming I can win. But can I afford to accept it? Ugh. Hey. Were any of those jokes around the office about your clients being connected to criminal crime true? What? Is this some kind of honeypot? Trying to get a grasp on something. Now I know you're baiting me. World's easiest that's what she said layup. I'll still basket that shit though. I don't give a fuck. Why do you make everything so hard? Come on. Like, come on, Freckles. Low-hanging fruit. Oh my god. Please. I have no idea what you're talking about. Morgan, I think you do know what you Obviously. Why are you asking me about mafia shit though? I'm working a case for the Icaria, whom I assume you've heard of. Definitely. Under circumstances that are probably vulgar. Absolutely. Which you'd be happy to brag to me about anytime. But I'm not well positioned to turn down the job outright. So I'd like to know whether they'd be resistant about parting ways afterward. Why? Do you not like getting paid lots of money? I don't like being chained. Fair enough. So you're like, just asking for my advice? The aura loss is incredible. What the fuck? You don't gotta do Morgan like that, man. Not going to attempt to farce that. I doubt you ever could. My generation's sense of humor is practically impregnable. It was a very basic non sequitur, Auntie. It just wasn't funny. Not even. A non sequitur would be, what's the charge? That's just getting back on topic. The charge is homicide. 5 counts. Meh. You're probably fine. All the stuff you hear about mobsters being clingy with their lawyers. It's because they don't want anyone who's been through their underwear drawers running around. Telling tales. Whatever poor fucker they pinned multiple homicides on, it's obviously not anyone important. I don't think he was framed. Not by his own people. Nah, pinned as in stuck with. Like a chore. Powerful people, mob or no. If they get lawyers, it's for tax evasion and conspiracy charges. Dirty work's left to the pawns, and the whole point of a pawn is you don't have to think twice about trading them off. Alright. I guess I know the rumors are true then. Yep, you uncovered my cool fucking secret. Listen, actors, singers, celebs, they all like expensive things and being the center of attention. Mobsters have money to burn and want the cologne of legitimacy. Everyone wants what they can't have. Okay, chill, Ev Scott Fitzgerald. Great looking great looking Caspi ass. I'm so pied for thee, motherfucker. You know which? We may be fundamentally different, but we do fucking... I get you. What? There's mutually beneficial arrangements to be made between the rich and the famous, and the rich and infamous. So you bet your ass I was in those rooms, negotiating appearance fees and taking my 30%. 30%? You really are shameless. That's what she said. All right. Texting is probably like Gen Alpha. Thanks as always for the sage counsel. Hey, if you're really feeling grateful, do me a solid and call your rents. They say they never hear from you. And I know you can't be that busy. You're bored enough to talk to me. They're the ones who are busy. $5.40. Door! How old is Masters? Depends on the time of day. Lawyer to the rich and famous, semi-retired. Waterfalls, manicures, macadamias. Getting ghosted by my adorable goddaughter. Cosmopolitan double. Collects favors. Friends in high places. Luck. SSR on the first pull. Sheesh! Still doesn't say door? You will not convince me that that's not supposed to be door. Obviously, I wasn't sure what would happen after I left the crime scene. It's 2. That's D003. Door 003. What happened after I left the crime scene? I wasn't sure what I'd find walking in here to speak to my client, but I definitely wouldn't have bet that the next time I saw this man alive, he'd actually look worse. So scary. Did you not hear me? I said I'm your lawyer. Oh, I heard you. I'm just not interested in wasting my breath responding. I'm sorry. Is there a misunderstanding here? Not at all. I understand exactly what you are. You and all your fellows. Your companion is staring at me very intensely. Sarah, blink. You're embarrassing me in front of the Yakuza. That's a very dated word. That's a very dated word. You really prefer I'd call you an orca? I prefer you give up and leave. What are you talking? I'm sure they told you I'd been softened up. They broke me and I'd be ready to sign whatever you put in front of me. Sorry to disappoint you, but the Hound of Ikaria doesn't heal. Cool! So, Skay, I'm going to repeat myself plainly and slowly because you clearly have multiple head injuries. I am not a lawyer. I am your lawyer. Ah. Right then. Very good. Thank you for coming. Sarah mentioned Sarah's right here. I apologize if I misspoke just now. I'd misspeak too if I lost as much blood as you. Morgan Esquire. I'll be representing you from here on out. Sosuke of House Ikaria. Sarah, paralegal and bartender. You're very young to have 2 jobs or 10 bar. Well, it's only part-time. Ah, right. So tell us, Sosuke of House Ikaria, what is your routine? You look very fit. My what? Are you asking about, do you not have me on file? Sorry, which firm are you from? DDD, MPM? I'm in private practice. I mean, you're not a mob lawyer? No, but please don't hold it against me. Everyone has to start the path to corruption. Morgan! There are serious risks involved in representing a man with my background against charges like these. It's very sweet of you two. They say I killed a cop, miss. I realize I may look a sorry state at the moment, but I've not fallen so low that I'll sully the house's name by dragging a civilian into. Makoto thought differently. The young master, you've seen him. How is he? Where is he? Is he unarmed? He was sitting pretty atop a literal throne surrounded by armed guards last time I checked. Thank you for that. No one's told me anything, and the young master has spoken on this matter. I won't go against his judgment, but I do hope you understand what you're getting into. I'm already in it, Sosuke. How well I understand what I'm in is something I think you'll be able to help me with. Very well. What do you want to know? So far, I know about you is your first and last name. It's a very important last name, but I take your meaning. And in truth, the first thing you should know is that I'm not worthy of it. Why? You disqualified due to pre-existing conditions? I was born Sosuke Hayakawa, 4th son of a distant branch family. The only reason I bear the name of Ikaria is because I was adopted into the main house as an infant, in exchange for lifelong service to the main family. Sounds like a great deal! Lifelong? How do you serve the Ikaria as an infant? There are various tax benefits if you have exactly 2 children. Don't be absurd! I am what you would call a bodyguard. By the time I was able to walk, I was trained to be of service to the house by protecting the heir with my life. By the time you were able to walk, there are a lot of demand for toddler bodyguards? All that's ever been asking me is that I stand in the right place at the right time. You mean like in a family photographs? Like in front of a blade. Even a child can manage that. The house has given me everything I have ever had and taught me everything I've ever known. But meager service I can offer in returns means nothing compared to the debt I owe them. A lead line dream explain we are the ones who killed these 4 guys? Nah, I don't think so. You view your relationship with your family as a transaction. It is not something so cold, girl. It's a matter of loyalty. Right. So if you were standing before a judge and they asked your name and occupation, you would say, my name is Sosuke Ikaria, and I'm an eternal servant for a living. I'll say my name is Sosuke Ikaria, and I work as head of personal security for the Ikaria Financial Group. What does that entail exactly? I'm the young master's bodyguard, and I lead all his security teams. Nice to properly meet you. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And I'm Sarah, paralegal and bartender, part-time. Yes, I believe you've already mentioned that. It seems like we were all doing it twice. Well, thank you for your paralegal services, Sarah. And here I had the impression you had no sense of humor. What do you mean? It seems in this particular instance, and don't I, it was you who misidentified his proper manners as being Glad we're all broken the ice. Makoto told me that this all started because you were taken captive yesterday. What happened? It was 2 p.m. The young master had just finished a meeting with a VIP in Crane Tower, floor 108. 2 p.m. He wasn't in school? Alas, you refrained from mocking the young master in my presence. He is a child. Anyone can see that. We have no idea the pressure that had been placed on him. Whatever my client wants. As I was saying, it was just after 2 p.m. Me and the rest of my team escorted him to the elevator alongside our planned exit route. The lift stopped suddenly in between floors 61 and 62. That was when I made a mistake. I had a bad feeling. Thought it best to get Makoto to the ground floor ASAP. So I forced the elevator open, crawled out, and pulled them out after me. But just as we got out, the elevator started up again, separating us from the rest of the guard. It was a trap! A 50-50 one. Staying wasn't safe either. If they could stop the elevator, it's not a stretch that they could drop it too. You just lost the coin flip when you decided to exit. Yes, Sarah, it was a trap. Floors 60 through 70 were undergoing heavy retrofitting. The other elevators weren't responding, comms were jammed. I'd reviewed the entire building blueprints beforehand. Not very useful information, obviously, for a floor undergoing renovations. But I knew that there was a construction elevator we could get to on the other side of the tower. I had to act fast. There was no time to doubt myself, and I did something unforgivable. You left the kid? I picked him up over my shoulder. Oh. Well, that sounds like fun. House, forgive me. Everything the young master does for the sake of his name's dignity and I. Kids are tougher than you think. I think he'll get over it. So you escorted him to the service elevator, I take it? That's where things went. Yes, I'm sorry, but I only remember a few vague details about what happened next. I'll tell you what little I can. After I activated the lift, 2 assailants emerged from under a tarped doorway at my 7 o'clock. One tall and one thin. Tall was around 190 and his weight, I'd say 100 kilometers with the mods. Thin was maybe 175 centimeters but slouched, modded as well, but what I saw looked stripped down, so he could have been more heavier than 70 kilo. They had needle guns. Slow to fire and slow to take effect. A memorable choice. Taller one shot first, jerked his arm when he pulled the trigger. Bad habit usually favored by street slinging punks who are just used to compensating for the kickback of jailbroken zippers. He might as well have been aiming at the ceiling. Thin lines up his shot properly. Laser sighted, dialed in on the young master's left trapezoid. I shift into a horse rider stance and deflect a needle with my weapon. The lift door opened behind me just as another shooter steps forward at my 3 o'clock. Or so I thought, but all they had was a laser pointer. Literally a cheap trick, but it worked. Hear a click from 8 o'clock, turn my neck, and feel a weight punch into my deltoid. A dullish kind of pain for an instant. I realize I'm already going numb. That's when I squeeze. Squeeze? He's talking about his mods. That's how I've always described it. Others say flex or pull or hold. I squeeze. Akita type 2. External thoracic booster. Some burst strength and pain killing capabilities, but in short, it's a reflex enhancer. Make 1 second feel like 15 in hindsight. It makes it feel like you ran a marathon during those 15 seconds once the kickback gets you. Trying to take out the hair of Ikoria. True, but I digress. I moved. Got Makoto into the elevator and wrenched the door shut myself. Taking 3 more needles to the back in the process. Remember saliva pooling on my lips and then cold concrete scratching my cheek. Alright, Sosuke. See, regarding Makoto, these men laid a trap, targeting him with tranks, failed. Then they take you instead. Yes, to my great shame. You were outnumbered in ambush, but you still managed to protect Makoto. What's there to be ashamed of? That I didn't see it coming. You're saying this has happened before. Dozens of attempts in the past year. Some headed off in the early stages, some steps died entirely, and some stopped with force. I knew their tactics and I knew our vulnerabilities. Yet, still I failed. Sosuke, that is not incorrect. Don't I? Am I wrong? Shouldn't a bodyguard get at least one shot off before being taken down? Shot? What do you mean shot? You were not carrying a firearm? No, no one on the team had guns. How's that? None of us in the security team had firearms with us. But you're a gangster. I'm a head of personal security for Ikaria Financial Group. Walking onto allied group's property armed to the teeth insults their hospitality and makes the house look insecure or worse, impotent. And I'm not a security expert, but I do think there's some gray area between armed to the teeth and empty-handed. I mean, didn't you just say you deflected their attack? I was not defenseless just because I wasn't carrying a gun. Oh, I had my sword. So lame! Sarah thinks otherwise. So cool, yep. You walk around town with what? A samurai sword? You just assume that it is a katana? Is it? Yes. It is a signifier of my position within the house and shows that I'm acting as a representative of it. Is it ceremonial then? No, it is quite sharp. Wow, this is just like the movies. Yep. I can attest to that. Though it's probably in terrible condition by now, seeing how this city's police manhandled everything else they touch. Speaking of which, perhaps we should move on to the night's main events. They tried for Makoto. They got you instead and took you to the lower wards. Why? I've been wondering that myself. Aren't you essentially worthless? As a hostage, she means. I know that! Thinking back, I was surprised to wake up at all, let alone in captivity. But it seems they had questions they wanted to ask me. What do you remember? Whatever they used on me, I can remember some things, but how much of it was real, what order it happened in, it's all... Just say whatever comes to mind. It can be anything. Sight, smells, voices. There are no wrong answers. I was bound, my wrist bound above my head. Tied to something that smelled like iron and rattled like old iron. Tiles beneath my feet, some kind of bathroom or decontamination area? Good guess. They asked me questions. I said things, loose lips, like being drunk for the first time again. I'm confident that other than vulgarities, it was all incoherent. Because there were shocks, the taste of blood. I must have bit my tongue during the spasms. And there were beatings, of course. I wouldn't have guessed. Adonai, do you need corrective lenses? Sarcasm is just how I grieve a lost opportunity, Sarah. Lost opportunity? Yeah, it's a damn shame. From what I can see of it, a pretty face like yours would have go a long way with the jury if it wasn't pulverized. Ridiculous. Is he blushing? I agree about his face, Adonai, but I don't believe it is his only strong feat. Let us move on! Really? Well, in that case, how did your captivity end? Do you recall escaping? I was blindfolded the entire time. My ears weren't boxed so badly. There was a door that squeaked and whined, so I always knew when someone was coming or going. One voice asked questions mostly. It was light. Another voice grunted when he hit me, heavy. No other voices came and went, then eventually there was talk. The joy I heard, they were all talking to someone else. A new voice. Was it high-pitched or low, loud or soft? It doesn't matter. Important that it belonged to someone new. Someone besides you and the dead who was there that last night. You make out any part of their conversation? No, not a word. There was a loud noise, gunshots followed by shouting and ugly sounds. And then, a hollow pain in my skull as I lost consciousness again. When I came to next, I had something in my hands. In my hands. Something sharp. I didn't even think to ask what it was or where it came from. I just started working at the bindings, rushed and clumsy, poked myself in the process. But I cut them loose, then took the gag out, and blindfold so tight I cut it rather than try and... Oh, the damn thing must have been acting as a bandage, because when I took it off, through the light and the pain, I thought my head had split open. It took me a long time to stand up. Felt like I could just lie on that cold, disgusting floor forever. But something was poking me, something tucked into my waistband. The gun. A gun. Imagine my surprise. Checked the safety of the chamber reflexively, but only saw 2 spent slugs. I was too tired to be confused, so I just walked out that squeaky door and into red. Just red. And then I was blinking at an IV, handcuffed to a stretcher in an ambulance, some cop reading me my rights, saying that I killed 5 people. No, wait, some judge or official said that later. I woke up in the ambulance. All they said was that I was a cop killer. Getting some strong language. I don't understand. You were held captive, interrogated, tortured. Then you woke up armed and you were able to escape? Cops didn't ask me any questions, and I wouldn't have answered if they had. It's been nearly a full day, and I'm just now saying it aloud for the first time. It truly sounds absurd. This is your world, Sosuke, not mine. Do you have any theories on what happened? Only 2 possibilities come to mind. The first scenario, 1 or more of my captors wanted to kill me but needed an excuse to do so. So they let me escape. They gave me a knife and an unloaded gun, then wait for me to stumble out so they can miss me and be done with it. The plan doesn't work. Somehow I limp out of that room, shoot, cut, stab, kill them all. That would be quite the feat given the condition you say you were in. Yes, a tale for the ages, but it's not possible. Why isn't it possible? Even if you had the motive and they were stupid enough to give him the opportunity, he was still lacking bullets. In the brief I read 2 of the pods were shot to death. I'm sure you were highly qualified, Sosuke, but I doubt you can fire a gun without bullets. No, I cannot. As I said, the gun I woke up with had already fired both its shots. We do not mention the knife! So, if we tell the police that the gun wasn't loaded, would that clear Sosuke's name for 2 of the murders? There's no proof the gun wasn't already empty by the time he got his hands on it. She's right. The gun was some kind of jailbroken mag rail. The only residue would leave behind is static. As long as my prints are on it, that's all the evidence they need to claim I fired it. How about that second possibility then? Second possibility is that someone walked into the building, killed my captors, and tried to frame me for it. That sounds like lunacy. We've already eliminated the other possibility. Insane trumps impossible. Like it or not, this bad Samaritan theory is our best shot. What is it? I'm just surprised you believe me. You haven't even asked if I did it. I never ask. Helps that I can usually tell. A wise policy for the world you're setting foot into. Not as if it makes any difference here. Even I don't know if I'm guilty. You were drugged and beaten. You're still injured even now. And we just reasoned that you couldn't have killed your captors without help. What makes you think you might still be guilty? Because I've killed before. Pale spark flickered at the back of my mind. My index finger rises slightly. My lips part. Was I expecting this, stepping into the criminal underworld? Looking forward to it? The opportunity to speak frankly with someone else who's... You mean... Yes. I was in the military. World's most disappointed serial killer right here? Okay. I've taken lives many times. That doesn't make you a murderer. Soldiers are given orders. I've killed people. Whether or not a superior asked me to doesn't change that fact. But soldiers... Are you a soldier, Sarah? No. So drop it. She is good at following orders. It can take years to acquire that skill. I can imagine it comes easy for androids. Yes, I suppose that's... Wait, that's an android? Did you miss the glowing barcode? And ignore my self-introduction? Look, I'm tired. I thought those were highlights or something. Did my hair catch your eye? You have discerning taste. You see, each strand is actually... Was there something you wanted to say, Sosuke? I've taken lives before, so I know how I feel afterwards. Thin. And how do you feel right now? Right now I feel... What is it? You remember something? Yes. I said that at the door. I said I saw red. But I do remember one other sensation. I remember feeling the feeling of gripping my sword. That brief you read. It listed all the charges, all the cause of death. The 5th man, the cops they say I killed. How did he die? Stabbed through the back with a sword, skewered like a piece of goddamn meat. And you've got the balls to ask us to carry him to a hospital? I don't think that's quite how I phrased the request. I've been paying close attention. Would you like to play back what you said? Not right now, Sparky. Reyes, she's just doing her job. It's not like she's asking. Oh, save the lecture, gray hair. Gray? Come on, my hair isn't... It's graying, maybe. In case I haven't made it clear, I've never liked you, Morgan. Oh, you're breaking my heart. I hadn't noticed. I never took you for a mob lawyer. Whatever my client's associations might be, he's a cop killer. Innocent until proven guilty isn't a phrase I coined myself, detective. It's actually somewhat important. Oh, don't worry about that. The proving won't take us long at all. You always take pride in rushing your investigations. We've all seen the same intake file by now, yes? My client was in bad shape when he was arrested, but his wounds were treated in a medical transport. Yet somehow, in between arriving at the station and his booking, all his wounds were reopened and some of them had multiplied. Tell me if you can, great detective. How will we ever solve the mystery of the reappearing fractured skull? Your client was being moved between floors. He struggled trying to escape, and then he fell down the stairs? Really? Was there a lawnmower waiting at the bottom? Look, we're all adults here. Let's just say it. Your co-workers kicked the shit out of him. Well, what do you want me to say about it? I want you to uphold the law. For some reason, I thought you cared about that. Police badge isn't a time machine. By the time we took custody, he was already... She's right, Tiger. What's done is done. You know you've got a snowball's chance in hell of proving your client was assaulted while in police custody. You'll never get charges brought against the officers who did it. So try asking for something doable. Don't go giving away all my best tricks. The door in the face tactic is already fragile. I want him to see a doctor. You gotta be shitting me. That's a blooded KW in there with military graded mods. He's not leaving this building. But we could have a doctor brought here and give him the chance to take a hostage. He's not the 99 man, Reyes. You can't break his cuffs. Don't say 99 man. You don't know what it means. You're too old. There's a theoretical state of being in which a human has replaced as much of their body as their cybernetic equivalent as possible. Got it. I don't think the rest of that matters. How about a medic who can't be taken hostage? A medical ad? Sure, great. Let me see if we can negotiate his premium lower while we're at it. Is that a refusal, Dr. Reyes? Oh, I didn't say no, did I? Great. He also needs a protective detail. Lady, I swear to counselor, protective details are comprised of off-duty cops. I don't think that'll have the outcome you're looking for. No. But if my client is left unattended one night, he's likely to be declared unfit to stand trial when he shows up to court with his head caved in. An outcome I generally believe you're not looking for either. We could keep him here. What, in the interrogation room? Counseling quarter. Tables can't be moved, but if you slide the chairs out of the way, the floor is not actually that hard. How do you even know that? Ahem, given what other lodgings he's had in the last 24 hours, I don't think your client will mind. So Detective Reyes and Detective London take shifts keeping watch. Now, we're keeping watch? It is the homicide department's counseling quarters. You think I give a shit what happens to that son of a bitch? You think I wouldn't walk in there myself and you wouldn't? What? It's not in your nature. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Either have it or you don't. Trust me. I had the chance to take a swing at that son of a bitch. Yeah, you already called him that. A piece of shit, a bastard, a killer. But unlike every other cop I walked past to get in here, you've yet to call Sosuke an animal. So what? What the hell does that matter? It's the only thing that matters. I've got the outsider perspective, so I know. Your average human can do anything to anyone, so long as they're not a person. Whatever, think what you want, creep. Well, so long as that's your only request, we should be able to. I need to get into the crime scene as soon as possible. You've gotta be. What, like tonight? She's not rushing more than anyone else, Sunshine. Everyone up to the line has been raring to go on this, now that Sosuke's actually got a lawyer. Well, maybe if that son of a bitch hadn't clammed up all day, we wouldn't... She said it again. Whatever, pick up the counselor. Pick then, counselor. You can bully us into guard duty or escort duty, but we can't do both. I need both, so you'll have to split up. But I can help with that. Or rather, Sarah can. I can? Of course you can. You can go treat Sosuke. Don't I? I'm not trained in. Oh, I love this bitch. She's pretending she doesn't remember being registered as my medical ad. Yes, I would never forget that. Unforgettable experience. I've never done first aid before. Well, watch a tutorial first. Use lots of sanitizer. Just hand her some bandages and she'll get Sosuke looking right as new in no time. Then you can plop her in front of the door and even 20 crooked cops working together couldn't get her to budge. That much is certainly accurate. I have a strong core. So if I focus and lower my center of gravity, thanks for the sales pitch, but it doesn't mean shit. Crime scene is in the lower wards. If you think after what happened last night that any cop with a pulse would go down there without their partner. It's okay, sunshine. I'll take her down there. Let's go! London! Is everyone here? Is everyone else in here huffing Nirvana? London, it's in the blue blood territory. Blue blood territory outskirts, really. They lost a whole pod. They'll be swarming the place. You can't go down there without backup. Backup, huh? You know Mac from Contraband? Skinny guy? Kind of a perv? Yeah, he's skinny. Look, he's got crime scene analysis sweeps going over that place with a fine comb right now. Drones, probes, the works. They'll advise on us before we get within 5 minutes of the place. Whatever, just keep in contact for once. Hope you're being generously compensated, Eve. Selling your soul to the mob. It'd be ashamed if you didn't at least get a good price. Hey, you coming, Blinkers? Gotta find where they store all the med kits in this dusty old piece of... Go on. I'll be right behind you, detective. Sorry about that. She's still new to all of this, really. Not old like me. She does seem to be on edge. More so than usual. It's her first time losing a fellow officer. I think she's taking it pretty hard. Maybe even personally. Did they know each other? Alright. You gather up all your things, I'll go bring us a ride. Great. Thanks for all the help, detective. You're a lifesaver. Though this is one occasion where I wouldn't have had any trouble finding the place. Yeah, but you don't want them to know that, Morgan. Really didn't take you that long to patch him up, huh? Now we just wait here all night? That clock runs pretty slow. If you're not doing anything else, detective, might you be interested in answering some questions? Sarah Doobie loved to ask questions. Once more into the depths. When I went down to lower wards last night, I knew what I wanted to find, but I wasn't sure where to look. Now I know where to look, but I have multiple priorities to consider. It'd be nice if I can prove Sosuke's innocence. It won't be easy given that they think he killed a cop, but it keeps me on the Ikari's good side. That'd be nice, but what is essential is that I figure out what the hell happened after I left. Whether anyone found any trace that I was ever there. Everything else is secondary. Sorry, guess I should have asked before I decided we'd be sharing a cab. I don't mind. But I am surprised. Did the budget cuts take away your shiny patrol cars? Patrol cars are shared, counselor. Any cop can step into any other cop's car, sync their credentials, and drive. Convenient. Shame you can't personalize. Yeah, no more dice in the mirror. Is that why we're in a cab then? Personal taste? Police cars are full of bugs. Thought you might appreciate the privacy. Auto cabs are full of bugs too. True. There are ways around them. Are there? I didn't know that. Yeah, plenty. Can be as easy as flashing a police badge. Something you want to discuss in private, detective? I was asked to get in contact with you and pass along a message. A secret admirer. Certain interested in parties and all that. You know how it is. I'm not sure I do. Does this have something to do with my client's business affiliations? There'd be a lot more blustering if I were to repeat it verbatim, so I'll paraphrase. Focus on getting the best outcome for your client. More of a reminder of what my job description than a warning. And don't broaden the scope of your investigation any more than strictly necessary. Well, I always appreciate kind words of advice. But Detective London, that almost makes it sound like you're on the take. That's the city, Tiger. You don't take a little, they'll bury you. Alive, if need be. Oh, they will? How conspiratorial. It's not a joke, Morgan. Do they threaten your wife with Tommy guns if you don't comply? Ha! It's gotten more sophisticated than that. Well, maybe sophisticated isn't the right word. Complicated might be more accurate. Or you could just call it a quagmire. Or even a shitstorm. You can't get along to go along. Even other cops won't trust you. You end up shot up in the back, friendly fire, a tragic newspaper clipping. You're exaggerating. You're telling me the entire police force is corrupt. Corruption would be one thing. You could, in theory, root it out. Me when I look at Legos. But above and below the canopy, it's all intertwined. Every tree stabilizing each other tree. What do they call that? Not parasitism. Commensalism. There you go. The state pays criminal informants to rat on their peers and lets them keep their positions in exchange. Orcas buy judges and politicians to keep their men out of prison. Status quo balancing act, a cycle. Stable as any gyroscope. Hear me if I find that hard to believe. Crime is at an all-time low. That's not a contradiction. People hate crime. What gets people killed is chaos. The opposite of organized crime is. So everyone's playing nice with each other. Even Detective Reyes? Jeez. What about the man they think my client killed? Did he play nice? He was a special case. He got the brief. You recognize his last name? The big city. I don't put much stock in last names. You'll need to break that habit if you continue to work in the underground. Sosuke said something similar. Tarek Chopin. Only son of Miguel and Dominic Chopin. The power couple. Why would the son of two of our city's most prominent council members be working as a police officer? You want the full story? Always. So who was this Chopin really? An idealist. Wrong line of work then. You're only half right. When he entered the academy, everybody assumed it was a political move. First step in his career to becoming a senator or whatever. Maybe it was, but anyone who met the guy could tell that he would make a lousy politician. You're saying he was honest. Wouldn't tell a lie if his life depended on it. Guy couldn't do small talk, much less make friends. Talking about cleaning up the city, cleaning up the police, cleaning up everything. If he was so unpopular, why was he kept on? No one on the force wanted to risk insulting his parents by firing him. Just got passed around from department to department, detail to detail. He did a lot of community outreach. Community outreach? Well, like bake sales? Like giving talks at schools about saying no to drugs until he turned 21. Wolf must have really loved his job to put up with that. Or he just wanted to prove a point that bad. Don't you try to save lower wards patrols for the more seasoned, better armed officers? We do, yeah. How do you know that? By going to the lower wards and looking at the cops you send there, of course. I read about it in Watch magazine last month. Oh. If Chopin was the son of a powerful man, of such powerful men, why'd he end up in the lower wards last night? That, I don't know. Don't know. By all accounts, he and his partner should have been at least 2 patrols removed from that area. Must have been following up on some other lead. His partner, who's that? The hero who finally arrested the Hound of Icaria, that's who. I'll have to send him a congratulatory fruit basket. Hugh Rogers, pretty bare bones record, but maybe that'll just add to his legend. What legend? Taking your client alive. Whacked him on the head with his sidearm, knocked him out cold. Guess it is a small miracle that Sosuke wasn't just shot dead if they thought he killed a cop. Maybe, but it wasn't pure luck. Only thing that did stick out to me in Rogers' record was his shooting score. 41 out of 100. You need 40 to pass. I think someone took pity on him when tallying up his score. They only whacked Sosuke on the head because he was too bad of a shot to avenge his partner. At least Rogers knows his weaknesses. Keep hearing that name, the Hound of Icaria. I cringe every time. No one actually calls him that, right? Sorry, but I've definitely heard that name circulating around organized crime before. Must be one hell of a bodyguard to have earned a nickname for it. He's a bodyguard? Then yeah, he must be pretty good. Of course, hound dogs are known for other things besides guarding. Sorry, was that crude? Ah, don't be sorry. I didn't even get enough of the joke. Okay, that all makes for some interesting food for thought. Detective London, if you are working for the Blue Bloods, I never said I was working for the Blue Bloods. It's more of a gig worker type thing, Tiger. I'm friends with everybody. If you're working for the mob in general, then, how do I know you're even taking me to the right place and not to? Whoa, whoa! I may pass a message along here and there, but I'm not. Damn! Hell, no one is either. Whatever you're imagining, it's not that exciting, I promise. Not that exciting. Sounds about right. Is it like this in every city? Handshakes and gentleman agreements behind closed doors? You disillusioned? The state has a great deal of power, Detective London. It makes countless rules. Now, I'm a big girl. I know that those rules don't apply to people equally. I understand the value of the criminal informants and the possible conflicts of interest that arise and try to keep them around. What I don't get is why the state has all this strength. It won't use it to just wipe the underworld off the map. That's pretty cold logic. I'd expect my state to be far colder. Hey, you ever heard this one? A politician, a CEO, and a mob boss are sitting at a round table with a gun in the middle. Who are you betting on? A CEO looks at a loaded gun and sees the bullets in a clip as inventory that needs moving. Plus, they're used to taking a job and setting up their golden parachute before anything else. I doubt they walk into that room without first planning how they're getting out of it. Fair enough, CEOs only get the job in the first place by convincing their board they can navigate high stakes. It's a trick question, of course. Rock, paper, scissors has no trump card. Politician can bring the heavy arms of the law down upon the mob boss if he doesn't shoot the CEO for him. Mob boss can have the CEO's family killed if he doesn't blow away the politician first. CEO can turbocharge the campaign of whoever the politician's opponent is if he refuses them to miss the mob boss. Yeah, it seems like you could make the argument to go in the other directions too. You could, so the point of the riddle is meant to teach us is this. Whoever convinces someone else to pull the trigger comes out on top. Funny. So in the parable you've set up, the gun on the table, that's the police? The blameless tool with no will of its own. Yeah. Though it was older men than I who set it up. I didn't realize this country's police were so powerless. However do you manage? We used to have a partner that helped us out, a tiebreaker. Because all three of these powerful men would be screwed if a journalist told the world they were meeting together. Got good news for you, detective. Journalists still exist. I can introduce you to one. You could even take a photograph. Oh, I know they're not extinct. People always write. Just that no one wants to pay them to. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk so much. Maybe it's nerves coming back down here. What happened last time you visited? Something up? Didn't put you to sleep, did I? No, actually. Your 3-seat table reminded me of an even older thought experiment. If God is impotent, why does he allow the existence of the devil? Even I know that one. To preserve free will or whatever, right? Yeah, that's the answer most people give. But now I'm wondering if it isn't a rock, paper, scissors deadlock, like the one you just described. God lets the devil be, so he'll terrify man, and man will always need God's warmth for protection. I mean, God needs man's faith, which can't be compelled. Of course, most people would say that God's long dead in the 21st century, but we're still around. That leaves the devil in an awfully strong position, doesn't it? You always picture 3 men in that room, don't you? Huh? Yeah, I guess I do. Sorry. Do 50-50 feminist rosaries. Do 50-50 feminist rosaries for your penance. 55. There to pick up the glass from the guy's true. Morgan kind of disappointed that she as the devil was not envisioned. Lower rewards. Detective London. We're definitely not alone down here. When you reassured your partner that we'd have company, I didn't think you were including blue bloods. Ah, you know, I'd forgotten to mention. Well, what? Well, then she's a liar, babe. Because I never said that. No, I never said that. Oh, come on, babe. That's what she's like. She lies for fun. Because that's what I call you, babe. It's a pet name. You like it. No, don't hang up. Don't hang up, babe. B, don't hang up. Of course I do. We gotta get to work, Han. I'll have to call you back, babe. Something just came up. London, what is this? London, who is this? Council Morgan, this is Adeline Han. She's a blue blood. Hey, I'm a perfectly legitimate career woman. You're speaking to Sinus Security Site Manager. If you ever need anything, miss, please don't hesitate to reach out. A real business card. It even has a watermark. I'm not familiar with Sinus. We're a private security and investigating firm. We provide bouncers, armed escorts, we catch cheating partners, find runaway debtors, run paternity tests, that kind of stuff. Sorry, but have we met somewhere? No, it can't be. I'd never forget a beauty like you. She's the Hound's lawyer, Han. Seriously, she works for those copper-headed scumbags? So our mortal enemies? That sucks. Another life then, eh? But I'll still play nice if you will. Right. So you're private security and you're currently securing this crime scene? Yeah? What's with the tone? What you're hearing is genuine bewilderment. London, why are the police letting blue blood contaminate this crime scene where a cop died? Come on, we don't have cooties. If this wasn't the location where a cop died, we'd have already turned full control over to them. What? The police contract out security around crime scenes to private companies all the time. And around here, the private company best suited for the job happened to be Cyanus. Letting them conduct their own side investigations is a small concession to keep the peace. A small concession? They're probably in there destroying evidence as we speak. If we have the R's to reserve the crime scene, they could burn the building down and we still have a pristine copy. London Bridges is trying to save face. Police couldn't keep this scene off limits without our help, and he knows it. Gremlins would be smashing their shiny cameras and popping their expensive tires around the clock if we weren't here. Lower Words kids take out drones by tossing shoes at them for fun. Is that why you see shoes hanging off a wire? No, I don't know why that happens. Just a thing teens have always done for fun. Mystery solved? Fine, maybe the cops and the Bluebloods are all consummate professionals who never even bicker. What kind of impartiality can I expect coming here to defend an Icaria? Well, you might get some ugly looks from those with less chivalry, but no one's going to get in your way. We know how defense attorneys operate. We know damn well how you usually win. No one's going to do anything that'd let you warm the hound out of this life sentence on a technicality. You sure wouldn't prefer that, to have him back on the street so you can take another shot at him? Oh, so flattery. That's how you flirt? What does that mean? You think we'd ever manage to gun down the hound of Icaria in the streets? Shake him in a holding cell? Bluebloods took him alive just fine the other day, didn't they? Yeah, and look what happened to them afterwards. So you won't tamper with the crime scene just because you want to make sure the state lobotomizes Sosuke for pentuple homicide? Yeah. I mean, we've also literally gotten paid good money to do these kind of jobs, so we have a reputation to maintain. Rate us 5 stars when you're done looking around, okay? I'll be sure to leave a glowing review. So this is the main entrance. Front door looks about as heavy as I remember, but it's unlocked. What's that? How was this door found? Chopin and Rogers were the first officers on the scene responding to gunfire. Someone heard that? Good thing I cleaned up fast. Check the area, then enter through the front door. The door was definitely locked when I arrived. I didn't lock it behind me when I left. I didn't have any keys. Buying our handiwork. This is a Zionist installation. Who else but Bluebloods trusts to secure Blueblood buildings? How does it lock? You ever used a key before? I wanted to know how the lock functions. Does it lock behind you automatically? Joel is hello, protagonist. That's a good question. You looking to buy? Because I could set you up. It is a good question, Han. Why don't you answer it? Yeah, the model locks behind you by default. You need a key to get in if someone doesn't unlock it for you from the inside. A physical key. Physical keys can't be hacked. Overwritten by a police badge. Some people consider those useful features. They can be picked though. Oh, but if the key's only on the inside. Interesting. Is that why the door is ajar? It looks like the lock's been destroyed. Was it found like this? Yeah. For as long as the R's has been up. Definitely wasn't locked when me and Reyes arrived, which was around 10:20 p.m. Hang on, you and Reyes? What? Were you the second officers on the scene? That's right. We weren't far when the 1099 went out. At 10:15. Long way from precinct 254, isn't it? We were in the area. Awkward. You want the tour then? Actually, I'd like to check the alley first. You know the crime scene's located on the 3rd floor, right? Yeah, but it has a window that opens to the alley, doesn't it? I just prefer to start from the bottom and work my way up sometimes. Sure, we can start there. Just be careful when you step. If you like those boots, all. Datapad! Cops running security. I don't know who to blame for leaving their shit here. I'll give the moral high ground to whichever part of this society learns to pick up after themselves first. True. Ruled out in university fire. Computer labs at Northwestern University were set ablaze. This reminds me. My brother sends the family a text about how there was a double homicide stabbing at his school today. I'm like, brother, this is like the 4th murder that's happened on your school grounds. You need to leave this state. All right, without me saying anything, what state is my brother in? I know the answer already. That's true. Florida? It's Florida, baby. Got it in 1. Jamie, you got it in not 1. -3 as a matter of fact. I should have figured, yep. Fire has been officially ruled out has been fooled an accident and successfully traced back to a cooling system failure. A freak accident that proved simultaneous relief and confusion for the community. When the fire was first responded to, Nancy would point out its similarities to other fires and bombings reported by sweeping members as the Witch of the West. Each incident appears to have targeted data infrastructure, hitting state, corporate, and academic nerve centers and leaving behind significant financial grief in the aftermath. All of it non-recoverable. You have officially lost me. I no longer feel bad for you. Said one anonymous campus security specialist at the university. Student registrations went up a little smoke. Reaching out to alumni as quickly as we can to try and piece together the records back together. But frankly, a lot of them have been less than eager to speak with us. And we may have no choice but to re-examine payment plans for our current students' tuition. Let's go! I don't know. Federal investigative officials have no formal comments at this time. But some local law enforcement officials have described seeing federal agents frustrated with the so-called witch. Criticism of the response has begun to surface from the political realm, with Senator Caldwell formally calling for the director of investigations to testify as to the progress of the search for a serial arsonist. Hey, we don't seem to have your ID in the database. If you fill out the simple form, we can get the rest of the article along with a ton of other cool offers limited. Okay, whatever. You can't just screw with current students? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you absolutely can. Now, the fucked up part was if when they did this, they raised their tuition to make up for lost years. That would fucking suck. Breach of contract. You are a loser. First of all, they're in the future and they still have financial aid and loans for colleging. Fuck them. Bunch of assholes. Second of all, you will not see me stand on the moral high ground. The moral high ground is, oh no, they lost their student loan information. Talking about jacking up the price. That's what I'm saying. The only way I can see it is if they jack up the price for it. And if they do that, they're assholes. That's what I'm saying. I literally said it first. That's a breach of contract? I have some horrible news. It's not. They would probably send out the rest of their year and then raise it next year. Like, you're right. If they raised it in the middle of a year, that's a breach of contract. But that contract's only for a year. You recalculate the amount you're paying every year. So they would probably just eat the cost and then raise them later. I didn't know they'd be all attributed to one person. There's no mention of victims, only data centers being targeted, but clearly this witch is hitting someone where it hurts. If they got schools involved? I mean, these are schools. Schools getting caught in the crossfire is an odd wrinkle. It stands to reason university camps have powerful superheroes, but the article clarified this wasn't a bombing, just an accident that happened to resemble. Whatever, I was always skimming it after all. Damn, I don't get my one thing. Bureau survived. It's a mere fraction of the size it used to be. Their modern reputation is that of attack does, employed by the Senate to make an example of political targets. Can't say like the idea of they were being out there hunting for serial offenders. I thought they were talking about the fires, although they did. I think you of all people, Morgan, should know that them ruling out a bombing doesn't mean it wasn't a bombing. It was much darker last night than it is now. And I only took a quick peek, but even so, this looks like it's been moved, huh? Yeah. Was trash picked up last night, perchance? Checking the model number on the side, looks like the dumpster of this make hasn't been picked up by the city in a decade. I didn't realize there was DRM for trash cans. Hey, it's a heavy model, tough to lift, even if its wheels weren't broken. Designed for containing industrial waste, how it end up here in a residential district is. Isn't that hard to puzzle out? Isn't that hard to puzzle out, is it? But it's cheaper for the Megs to dump their shit on us than it is to haul it to a landfill. Is that why I can see markings on the ground there from leaks? Oh, you really are a tourist, aren't you? I've been in the lower wards before. We're only at night, right? Rain's dirty down here. The stains on the ground, whatever, stains the ground wherever it falls. Acid rain, like from the history books? Not quite that bad, just smog combined with precipitation mixed with the charms of the city to make dirty rain. Like I said, lower word, spring water. There's a shot named after it. Tequila and pickle juice, ugh. So is the dumpster empty? Let's see here. Hey, grab a glove if you're gonna. Yeah, it's mostly empty, except for a bunch of scrap metal at the bottom. Explains why I can't get it to budge. Careful, if you get your toe trapped under there, don't look at me if you to help you just because I'm modded. Are you saying you couldn't budge it either? I could if a girl was cheered me on. Okay, London, thanks. Don't know what I was expecting to find, really. No, just watch it so you don't. Let the lid slam. Sorry. She was looking at it. That is true. That is true. This fire escape would lead right up to the crime scene, assuming it doesn't come crashing down once you step on it. It's missing the ladder that would connect it to the street level. You're violating fire code with this tenant trap. Wait, is that how it's spelled? Han? Building inspection is not my department. Besides, who want to climb up into a burning building? Firefighters. You're funny, Bridges. Even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to save a lower ward's property from burning down. An ad could probably make the jump up there. You have it, not dyslexia? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. I was asking, is that how it's spelled? I know the word. I've never seen it spelled out before. Crazy. Doesn't sound anything like it's spelled. Ads are heavy. If Android leaped onto that, the whole mess would probably come down on top of them. Yeah, modders are heavy too. Hey. Oh, that the only way to get into the building is through the front door then. Alright, I'm done back here. I think I've seen everything. That's right. I was sitting here last night when... It was dark and foggy. The kid was too far off to make out my face. Weren't they? What is it, Tiger? Nothing. Thought I saw someone out of the corner of my eye, that's all. Yeah? Around here, maybe it was an unlisted. What do you... Those are real? Keep to themselves, obviously, but yeah, they're real. I've met some. They inform, sometimes on what they've seen. Never come in to testify, of course. You think they stand out dressing like that, but... And their camouflage didn't work. They wouldn't be unlisted, right? What do you mean they keep to themselves? Don't they work... Don't they work with any of the gangs down here? It's alright. Have I gotten your hopes up or something? Trust me, you've got a better chance of winning the lottery than running into one. Right, forget I asked. Ready to go inside? I think so long as... No, I'm not with anyone else. It's just me here. Because she's shrill, princess. And delusional, you know that. I'm sure she'll catch up. So you were saying this used to be an apartment building. Somewhere between that and a long stay motel, yeah. Blue Bloods didn't deviate far from that model when they took over. They call rooms like these vaults, places to stash away a lover, witness, debtor, when there's too much heat. You've gone through all these vaults, I take it? Scientists helped us with that. Last night, yeah. Bringing around master keys, clearing out every possible hiding spot. Didn't find a red-handed killer hiding anywhere, did you? Sorry, no. So, is this the Blue Bloods' forte then? Securing people's places and things? You could think of it that way. Guess I always assumed gangs made their money through drugs. Well, the Blue Bloods do deal here and there. But narcotics have been a rich man's game ever since the CDCA rolled in. You have the funds to ride the gray wave the way House Icaria does. You can make a killing. They got the market cornered from black to gray to white to pure green profits. Blue Bloods hate that they have to do with all the scraps the Megs in the house don't bother producing in mass. Professional jealousy, how ugly. Why can't these underground overlords just bury the hatchet, get together, and screw over the consumer like reasonable people do? They've tried, if you believe the rumors. About a year ago now, there was some kind of meeting, an olive branch from the golds to the blues. Apparently, the Blue Bloods had a product that the Icaria wanted to distribute. The Ikaria sell legal drugs now, though. What kind of product could the Blue Bloods have that the Ikaria couldn't manufacture? Not sure. Maybe that's why it went south so fast. Blood was spilled less than an hour. The Ikaria aren't the type to keep negotiating after being spat on like that. And so the Blue Bloods remain firmly planted in their lower wards niche. They may not like having to take the low end, but they are filling a gap in the market. That's every proper capitalist calling, right? Besides, the workers certainly appreciate their protection down here. Workers hire Blue Bloods for protection, but all that stuff is legal so long as they're licensed, isn't it? Legal? Yes. Respectable? Most would still say no. So household name security megs consider it too high risk to be seen in the company of workers. Why was that added into evidence? It wasn't. It was added into terms. In term for sex worker, generally used to refer to as individuals such as legally licensed as such, as opposed to those who are engaging in sex work outside of the legal guidelines. Okay. Sure. Doesn't help that their average board member is easily pushing 60. You aren't that far from pushing 60 yourself, are you? Matter of opinion. Besides, I'm a very modern, forward-thinking man. Did you finish those 50 rosaries yet? Already? Right. And those Ikaria, they don't, compete in that market? No. People at the Ikaria Heights might patronize a courtesan or two in the cloud districts, but they never lower themselves to work alongside one. Hypocrites. That much I understand perfectly. The hypocrisy is the appeal for them. The rules don't apply to me. You could ask for a more pure expression of power. Damn. Worse than I remember. Like a demon tore through the place. Seriously. What the hell happened here? That's what we all get paid to find out, right? Yeah. I definitely got a head start on the rest of you, though. Shall we bring up the arcs? Sure, I'll patch you in. Allow me. You're needed on the phone, Miss Han. Please don't let me keep you here. Nonsense, I got all the time in the world for you. Everyone's treating me like royalty today. One, two, three, four, five. The world is right out of my mouth. Where shall we start? Oh, the tall, dark, and mysterious in the middle here. That's your client. He was found standing over Chopin's body by the arresting officer. Rogers, right? And he knocked Sosuke out. Correct. So why is this artistic rendering of Sosuke and not a capture from Rogers' body cam? Well, it seems like at the time. Their body cam was off, seriously? Hey, I chewed him out on him myself. Myself if he was here with us. It's department policy to have all sensors green when responding to an emergency. Did all this not qualify as an emergency then? Chopin and Rogers were responding to shots fired. That's not uncommon in this part of town. Or two inexperienced officers first in the scene might not have come to mind. At least Chopin could use that excuse. Rest in peace. But apparently Rogers requests replaced body cams nearly every week. Okay, if he's that big of a klutz, take away his gun once the city's done throwing him a parade. I'll put in a request. Right then, who's next? Blood loss from the neck, even I can tell that much. Stabbed with a bladed weapon right near the carotid artery. Very efficient. Not the kind of kill someone could make without prior experience. My client's a humble bodyguard. Come now, I know you've got a job to do, but you'll shame him if you don't let him take credit for this one. Miller was no joke in a fight. To take him out with one clean stab to the neck using his precious signature katana, the hound must have been itching to brag about it. I'll refer to the medical examiner on this matter, thank you very much. What do you mean? Sato said the same thing. Katana to the neck and not so much words. Is Miller's blood even on the katana? Even if it is, why would a medical examiner assume the katana was used here when my knife is a much better fit for? My knife. Where is it? Where? I gave Sosuke the knife before I left. It should have been found on him when he was arrested. Should be somewhere in the arcs. You looking for something, Tiger? Uh-oh. Haven't found the knife, and I ask about it anyway. That means admitting that I know it's missing. I tell them Soseki mentioned a knife. that only the killer would know about, I'd be ruining my case before we even made it to the courtroom. Or worse, pointing the police in the direction of the knife's real origin. No, was anything found on my client's person when he was arrested? Besides a gun, a sword, and a bunch of blood that did belong to him? No, not even any lint in his pockets. Why do you ask? No reason. Sometimes you gotta shake the tree to see what falls out. Or so they say. Oh, you were blindly guessing. I've been there. Something must have happened to that knife. Couldn't have just disappeared. Not from a crime scene locked down like this. I'll need to find it, but I just can't go looking for it. This is what it feels like to play with a handicap. I advise you to brace yourself before opening the autopsy photos for this one, counselor. Yeah, this is sufficiently obfuscated. A lot to take in. The skull was crushed? Yes, but the cause of death was blood loss from a laceration across the neck. Hit the floor and bled out in seconds. Everything else you're seeing there is post-mortem overkill. Not the word I'd use for this kind of shit. Oh, calm down. I didn't do it for the fun of it. In this specific instance, Morgan! This victim had modded eyes. Seems to me like someone just didn't want to take any chances. Bullshit. No one in the lower wards would get optic mods with recording functionality. You wouldn't be welcomed anywhere. You gonna claim the Hound of Ikaria didn't know something that fundamental? Nah, he bashed his brains in for the fun of it. I'm sure a law-abiding citizen like yourself. We're all scum of the earth to deserve. I'm pretty scummy myself, Han. Defense attorney, remember? Who the hell deserves shit like this? Deserves? What does that have to do with anything? I take it that this bat is what did the deed? Matches the splinters found inside his wound, if you had any doubts. Nothing here about Soseki's fingerprints. You think we could get anything but particles off of that? It's practically splinters. Makes sense, I was the one who actually swung it down and I was wearing gloves by then. Whoever did this, they were damn enthusiastic. You know how hard they have to swing to crush a skull to break the bat itself? I can't imagine. There's some faint blood that's been smeared here. Did it belong to this victim? And okay. It keeps changing his name. I wonder if maybe the bodies hadn't gotten moved around for some reason, but your client's legs and feet were soaked in others' blood when he was arrested. They'd have had to sneak up on Chopin in order to stab him in the back. You think he slid his feet across the ground to avoid making noise? Does he say otherwise? I'll let you keep guessing on that one. A lot of stuff that's different here. What the hell? Who the hell are you really? Why are you lying there dead in the middle of my crime scene? That was Tariq Chopin, as you might guess, a patrol officer and the son of two loving fathers, who strongly emphasized to the chief of police their desire to see justice done. Reyes wasn't exaggerating how he died. Right through behind with the sword. So he would have been standing in front of the desk. Then he was impaled. Then he collapsed to the floor face first and the sword got stuck in the ground. Bad luck for the attacker, I suppose. Yeah, Dr. Sados noted in her report that the stab wound was, in her world, jostled. Pardon? The attacker tried to pull it out, but it was stuck, so they had to jiggle it around. Hey, it's probably what saved Roger's life. Keep your client distracted and disarmed long enough to give Rogers time to rush in. Allegedly. Not where I left you, that's for sure. According to Sosuke, the one thing he does recall after I passed the baton to him is gripping his sword. Not giving me much to work with. Fingerprints on the grip match your client's right hand, by the way. Here I was getting my hopes up. It definitely wasn't suicide, because no one else's prints are on the damn thing. Ruled out suicide once I saw he was stabbed in the back, thank you. Scattered underneath his body. Did I knock them off the desk at some point? Maybe when the tall one hit the ground? Or maybe when I was swinging the bat down? Hang on. What kind of paper is this? I can't read a word. Really, you should get that looked at. My vision's 2020. What am I looking at, Miss Site Manager? Those docs are internal business, ma'am. Nothing to worry your pretty little head over. How do you know they're internal business if you can't read them? You really never seen red ink before? Never heard of it. It's a corporate information security protocol. Files with special flags trigger specific print commands if you try and make physical copies. Makes it use some kind of ink. Try to take a photo of it and it comes out a bright blur. Paper special too. Too much heat, humidity becomes illegible. First, bleeding out on top of you is a lot of heat and humidity. Contain confidential data that the blue buds wouldn't want to get out. What do they say in the movies? I can't confirm nor deny that. And I subpoenaed the data? Do your worst, we got lawyers too. And like your client, they've got all the time in the world to stall. Besides, you and I both know exactly what the Hound's motive was. And it wasn't written in those pages, it's written all over his busted up face. Sure. You don't mind if I copy down whatever I can anyway, right? I wouldn't have any legal reason to stop you if that's what you're getting at. Red ink, huh? The big one. He made a strange face when I shot him and a loud slam when he hit the floor. This one, real long rap sheet. The short ending, buckshot to the torso, died instantly. Flexware on his mods put his time of death at 9:44 p.m. Killed by his own weapon. Comes up a bit short of poetic justice, but it doesn't look like he was in any kind of struggle for it beforehand. How'd someone manage to get it off of his hands? Wasn't any great feat, I assure you. Tex identified it as a double-barreled Mag US, and how do you know that the gun was his? He's still wearing the holster and the arse. Was I mistaken? No, about a week ago, Tanks here was stopped and frisked by a patrol unit. They found this gun here on him. And they just handed it back to him? He bought and paid for it above board. So this gun isn't jailbroken. You have tag data from the murders? No, we don't. Strange. According to the text, the gun is jailbroken. Wait, what happened between last week and last night that he get the tag stripped off? Something that made him think this piece would see action soon. Creek's fine wood desk. He seemed particular about it. Maybe in no small part because I had a priceless Noah mask hidden inside, but seems we've been through this data pad here, front to back, and we didn't find anything we didn't already know. Seems like Creek was smart enough to use it for payments and nothing else. How do you manage that? Even gangsters need spreadsheets. Hence the paperwork you see scattered about. They really did everything by hand. UPP is what they call it over in organized crime. Paper and pencil protocol. Helps the orcas keep their books off the books. Or at least in the format that's easier to destroy should push come to shove. Run checks on this credit card that's jammed in here. Ah, not surprised you don't recognize it. That there's a dark card. Wow, tell me more. Wow, tell me more. It's an untraceable wallet in the palm of your hands. I would hope any wallet would fit in the palm of your hands, detective. But you really can't find the owner, and it can't trace any of its transactions. Most we can tell is the data pack registers calls to the data card network at around 9:40 p.m., but it's timed out. What does that mean? Transfer didn't go through. Either someone got cold feet or they forgot their password. Happens to the best of us. By the way, what's this cloth being flagged? Not sure. Friends didn't find any blood on it. Who flagged it? Lady Rockford herself. Could be that she fat thumbed it. Yeah, I'm sure it was nothing. Yeah. I'm sure it was nothing. Paper scattered all over his desk. Suppose I'm partially to blame. I didn't exactly memorize the setup before I started searching for the mask. What's this? M. Icaria. Looks like the creased handwriting from the other files I've seen. M. Icaria. Looks like M. Icaria. Yeah, actually. He's dead, London. I was gonna let the spelling mistake slide. Right, sorry, but M? That's gotta be Makoto, right? You know Makoto? I know he's the Ikaria's heir apparent, but I hear he's an appropriately frightening young scion. He's really quite something. What would his name be on Creek's desk? He was Creek's real target the other day. Sosuke was some kind of consolation prize. Bag in the Hound was a consolation prize. These punks had their sights set high. Yeah. Like no one taught them not to stare at the sun. Windows open to the fire escape in the alley below. There's a thin misting of blood across them. Get a good guess as to who it belongs to. This is where we found Creek, leader of the pod. Ballistics tell us the shooter was standing in front of the desk, near where my client was found. Your words, not mine. Nasty slug burst in his chest, blew blood back onto the window behind him. The open windows. Hell of a spread. Yeah, it is. Did someone open these or... No, they were open when we secured this. Any fingerprints? Plenty on the handles from Creek in his pod. That's where the handles are? Something wrong? Definitely, but how the hell could I explain why I know that? No, I just... I guess I'm wondering about the keys around his neck and the arcs. Oh, well, one was a master key, could unlock any other door in the building. The other key we eventually paired to a small safe in his desk. Empty, though. Suppose that's all irrelevant since he apparently died with the keys on his person? Yeah, they caught my eye too, but to be honest, not every detective instinct pans out. So who was this guy? Curious? Only professionally. I don't care what he was before I killed him. Gonna record dating as far back as it goes. Sealed when he turned 18. That makes you sure he has a juvenile record then. The more experience these guys get, the more time in between their arrests. Pattern I'm seeing, he was pretty damn experienced by the time he was of age. You trying to compliment him? I wasn't trying to insult him, Han. Anything you like to add? Nah, nothing I want to say in front of you two. If you want to say a few words, the detective I could step. Only words I have are for his killer. I'll deliver them in person or not at all. Fair enough. Do you have any idea why someone might want to hurt this Creek fellow? That's not funny. That dog you're defending? It's a fair question, Han. Give it fair consideration. Besides the Icaria, the Rust, or the city's finest. No, Creek was charismatic and driven. Plus, he made us a lot of money. No true blue would want him gone. The bloodthirsty Icaria soldier he was interrogating, however, probably wasn't a huge fan. What about family? This is getting old fast. Younger brother's listed as his next of kin. Leave his brother out of this. Hell, leave me out of this. Rooting through a person like you're picking at zits. Well, it seems he's out of town anyway, taking a summer lesson at Home Mariner U. That's a good school. An expensive school. Younger brother has no listed occupation. Also, no priors and no juvenile record. Tad, at his age, poor kid. Pills for that cost an arm and a leg. Creek must have been sending him. Detective, did you just leak the confidential medical data of a non-suspect to a third party? Hey, you don't have to report. How about I buy you an ice cream or something? Well, you know, sometimes you gotta bribe them the old-fashioned way. Bribery, too, you're digging yourself pretty deep. Is it still bribery if I'm the government official? Well, this door is where they were keeping Sosuke and where I let him off the leash. I'll leave that for after I finish it here, okay? Slip of the tongue, eh? This screen. I turned it on to distract Tanks long enough to grab his gun. We were choosing not to turn it back off. Interesting setup. Powerful setup. Was blaring when we arrived. The sound system, I mean. One of the CS texts is a real audio file. Said it broke her heart how loud they must have blared the speakers all the time. Wears it out, she says. I wouldn't count on orcas to value the longevity of their tech purchases. Okay. Looks like there's everything here. Well, I don't envy either of your workloads. It's a mess in here. It's a lot of blood, that's for sure. I'm impressed you haven't gotten noxious, miss. Be right at home here if you all weren't poking your noses around. Shoot, I just remembered. I'll never hear the end of it if I don't check in with my partner after saying I would. You two get it. You need to keep going if I step out to make a call. A call? Is your partner your mom? Is your mom blind? Send a text. Thanks for your understanding. Maybe he was the one with the weak stomach. You sure to let me know if you're feeling faint. I can keep going. We're nearly finished anyway. I'd stick to the R's if I were you. Nothing behind that door that's better seen in person. You've been such a gracious hope up until now, Miss Han. Why the cold feet now? It's ugly in there. Uglier than this? Different kind of ugly then. It's all in the eye of the beholder. I warned you. Don't worry, I can stomach it just fine. So long as I can understand it. Why did Creek's pod torture my client? I don't know what I don't know that they did. Sosuke told me they electrocuted him, Han. Probably just grounded him. Low-grade currents applied every few minutes stops most mods from rebooting. So no SOS pings, no adrenaline burst pulled out of his ass. And the pliers, hammers, and syringes, what purpose did they serve? They could have just killed Sosuke when they failed to nab Makoto. Instead, they dragged him down here. Why? To try and get information on Makoto's itinerary? Get enough info to make another run at him? There are any answers for me in here. I'll need a grout scraper to find them. Hypodermic needles. Probably not packing anything healthy. Sosuke better hope they were at least sanitized. Not sure Sarah can treat an infection with gauze and rubbing alcohol alone. Those needles there. The design of these needles seems a little odd. Huh, well, someone will tell you sooner or later, so. They're projectiles. Load them into a gun and fire away. Sosuke was captured by men wielding needle guns. Does Cyanist Security have any peacekeeping tools they'd like to disclose as having recently gone missing? You're cursing up the wrong pipe. Creek could find tools all on his own, and we're not that kind of operation. An operation where the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing. More like the right hand's just been washed, so if you have to handle some garbage, Cyanist isn't that legitimate? Why aren't all the Blue Bloods working legal jobs then? Not enough positions available. Gotta earn like hell to be considered for a job on this side of the fence. Creek and his pod weren't bringing in that kind of money. They liked Creek's pod where it was. Who's they? Upper management. That masks a death sentence, crafted specifically for one very specific customer. I'm just the one giving the honor of hanging on 22. And did upper management like Creek? I'm just a humble site manager, miss. I wouldn't know. Sure. So do all these needles contain anesthetics? No, they're also stimulants and barbiturates. Sleep aids, anti-seizure, anti-anxiety. Like the truth serum. You get sued for selling it as such. It makes you talk. Doesn't mean what you say. Doesn't make what you say the truth. They wanted Sosuke talking. What did they ask him? Client can't remember or isn't willing to recall. There's really no one alive who would know, yeah? True. Has all this blood been tested, Miss Han? Enough of it has. Besides Sosuke's, who else would it belong to? It's a bit lazy, but it's not as if there's more here than the last time I visited. Sosuke really did lose a lot of blood. The time he stumbled out of here, a stiff breeze would have been enough to knock him over. Is he really such a badass that he still managed to take out a police officer before he'd even notice? It's not as if I feel nothing looking at someone else's handiwork, the product of their violence. But it's like an artificial sweetener. No complaints for that first instant. Then the afterthink comes. Empty calories. I'll just be hungrier again later and faster. Best to stay disciplined. It's water, cold enough to condensate on the outside of the bucket. That water for sponge baths. Just a simple way to keep a guest from dozing off. Temperature shock makes caffeine look like a sleep aid. This coming after you claim you don't know if Sosuke was tortured? You know what that other bucket was for then? I know you said you got a weak sense of smell, but do you really need a hint here? But then this last bucket here is, what is that, trash? Cloth and rope bindings. Or bandages, see? They were nursing him back to health. I'll run your theory past Sosuke next chance I get. Let's see what's left of what they were keeping Sosuke tied up with. They'd have had to use something, yeah. This door doesn't even lock. Not after I removed the bat bar, barring it from the outside. He was brought here tied up, questioned. Then he breaks out, bursts into the next room, cuts up 2 of his captures, and blows the other 2 away. That's what you think happened. That's what it looks like. And then what? Chopin runs in and turns his back on a violent criminal? Don't strain yourself trying to make it sound improbable. Cops are dumb. If the hound crouched in a corner, he'd have his chance soon enough. Hell, he probably just played dead. Walking in to that scene out there, you think some patrol officer would go around checking pulses? Why would my client go to all the trouble to get the jump on an officer? Why not just run away? Hell, why not ask him for medical treatment? Because he was standing in the middle of 4 men he just killed? I know that Sosuke had no logical reason to attack Chopin, but so what? Even Sosuke himself says he would have been acting on instinct. Wouldn't instinct tell him that Chopin was in between him and his escape? I'm getting a headache, and it's not from anything sensory. I should know more about this crime scene than anyone. Why can't I piece it together? If I can't piece it together, the cops never trace any of this back to me, right? So why do I feel so ill at ease? Probably because of the knife. Okay, thanks for your patience, ladies. Did I miss anything? Nah. Oh. Would you have felt better if you had? I'm gonna head out now, actually. I have a long day tomorrow. Come back by yourself then, are you sure? Get you right out of the neighborhood. I'm sure Miss Han here has already made sure that we both get out of here without any trouble. That is her company's area of expertise, isn't it? Of course. At least let me walk you out. Sure, why not? Safe travels. So, Detective, there's something you didn't want to talk about in front of the professionals at Sinus Security. Thanks for picking up on that. Rails will be a set if you never checked in. Yeah, right after this I will. This room. Are we directly under the scene of the crime? Yep, same fire escape right there. Same type of window, too. Has this room been scanned into the arcs? Yeah, but no one found anything noteworthy. Except Cyanus being sloppy. What are you actually doing here when you left Han and I back up there? Something Han said earlier about how no true blue would wish harm on Creek. Her phrasing stood out to me, because it implies the existence of false blue bloods. It reminded me of one of the first things I learned in this city. There are no monoliths. Megas, Orcas, City Hall, they're all always factions, and among the blue bloods, the party lines are especially visible. So I made a call, not to Reyes, and confirmed some things. And I figured I owe you a little hint or two concerning the tone of the last message I delivered. That message warned me not to broaden the scope of my investigation. Getting hints from you might be self-defeating. Not these hints, trust me. What faction did our pal Creep belong to? The Young Bloods, opposite end of the compass from the Old Guard, the conservative blue blood leadership. All of them older than 70, some of them pushing higher than 90. Han said Creek was too useful for anyone to want dead, but my sources don't agree. Creek talked, said things out loud that others only whispered. Ambitious, charismatic, up and coming, and young. Could easily see him being very unpopular with all the wrong people in the Old Guard. That's interesting info, Detective. It doesn't exactly fit this case on its head. I already know who killed Creek. The police have already decided it's Sosuke. Learning that he had some occupational hazards will hardly convince a jury otherwise. My client's the one standing accused, and everyone already knows why Blue Bloods and Ikarias would want to kill each other. Do you? The rival gangs, they hate each other. Do you know why? It's the same reason all the Blue Blood leadership is ancient, while all their muscles made up of orphans and delinquents. 30 years ago, Ikaruya betrayed their peace with the Blue Bloods, started killing them. And they didn't stop for days. By the end of it, every single member of the leading Blue Blood families under the age of 40 was dead. Well, I can see how their kids would grow up to hate the Ikari, yeah? You're not getting it, Tiger. Their kids didn't grow up at all. If that's the case, how are the Blue Bloods still around? For one thing, the Ikaria had bigger fish to fry. This was right before the Red Decade. They spent every second of the next 10 years positioning themselves so they could come out the other end as neo-ability. Second, what remained of the Blue Bloods was a new niche to fill. Taking in delinquents furious at a country driven off a cliff by adults before they could even get a chance to vote. Blue Bloods swelled their rank to new heights by looking out for the little guys during those years. In exchange for favors down the line. Lastly, and most importantly, they survived because they still had hope. You serious? I am. It's a powerful weapon. Hope for what? Hope that the Ikarias had missed one. That they'd fled the country. Hope that a promised heir would grow strong and return one day. A triumphant little lord with overflowing riches and overwhelming power. Sounds like a fairy tale. Those endure for a reason. Well, now you know. A warning to watch where you step isn't exactly worth much if you're fumbling around in the dark. Fairy tales and warnings. What's up? Hey, you ever pay attention to any of this graffiti down here? Scrawling's about Lobo and the cyberpunk end. HBK increasingly. I haven't seen that myself. I was gonna say Red Hood. Why are you asking? I feel a chill down your spine? Except for HBK, that's all old news. Ghost stories and campfire tales. There's a lot of campsites around here. Lots of places to start fires. But Red Hood, haven't heard that in who knows how long. It's one of the oldest. Rough story. Based on real event? Nothing worth recounting. I'll take your word for it. Hey, do your pals in OC ever hear of some kind of blue blood hunter? Like a bounty hunter? Or huntsman, maybe? Where do you hear that from? He also thinks he might have overheard talk of something like that when he was in captivity. Doesn't mean anything. Nope. I don't like the hesitation there, Detective. Just an urban legend. I would have said the same thing about Unlisted before this afternoon yet. Fair enough. See a huntsman and live to tell the tale. I'll buy you as many lotto tickets as you want. What's gotten into you that you're feeling all superstitious? Guilty conscious? You mean about working with the mafia? Psychologists would call that projecting. Ouch. Too far? Nah. Didn't feel a thing. I don't know why I asked, really. Guess I just had a odd feeling all day. Like deja vu. You been here before? No, I hate that feeling. Sort of the opposite of that it would be. The unnerving uncertainty that you're in uncharted waters. Scary stuff. Ooh, we can stop here for sure. Alrighty, very good. Good stream, counselor. Thank you, thank you. Always love of the devil. It's good shit. Alrighty then. That'll be it for today. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'll do tomorrow. Have yourself one of thems. I'm really unsure about what I'm going to do tomorrow. But I'm sure I'll figure something out. Yeah. I will see all of you tomorrow for whatever it is. Hope you have a great rest of your night and Thursday morning. And I'll see you then. Bye. Bye.